Andrea, I'm so jealous of you. The weather, the sunshine, you're glowing. I'm just like,
It's actually a little bit too hot here, but I know you guys have got a lot of snow in the US right now.
no, and ice. It's so freaking cold out. I'm like, one day we're gonna live somewhere warmer for like half the year. How's everyone doing? Some of you I've seen
Thank you.
recently. Hi.
Thank you. Do. I kept thinking, why do I own these? These are so like, these are not really good. Exactly. I'm glad I have them for today.
Okay, I muted Holly because I don't know if she knew she was talking to us. I don't think she was talking to us. But how's everyone doing? Okay, so for some of you, I haven't seen you since last year, which is crazy because we hosted our full moon circle inside of Lunar Signal, which was our reflector content challenge. So for some of you, I haven't seen you since December of 2025, early December of 2025. Um, it's so crazy. I feel like January was 10 weeks long. Does anyone else feel like January was literally 10 weeks long? But at the same time, like it also really flew by. So I'm just so happy to be here in a room of reflectors. Like there's literally nowhere else I would rather be. Um, Invitation to drop in the chat where you are coming in from. So I know some of us are probably already connected, but there's definitely some new faces in here. So drop in the chat where you're coming in from, and maybe drop a couple things about yourself. So include your profile and maybe your incarnation cross. Ooh, should I button this or should I keep it open? We're going to keep it open. So yeah, so
Love it.
drop your incarnation cross. I'm a 4-6 right angle cross of tension girly. You can also drop in the chat, yeah, where you're coming in from, your profile, your incarnation cross, if you know it. Maybe also drop your Instagram handle if you would like to connect with everybody else that's in here. And if you want, you can also tell us how you're feeling 1 month into the year. It's a pretty symbolic full moon. It's a pretty symbolic full moon. So we're going to get into that a little bit. 2-4. I don't meet a lot of 2-4s,
What?
Julie. So
What?
yeah, I really don't. I don't meet a lot of 2-4s in four ways, right angle, cross of four ways. Yeah. I do know actually the cross of four ways is like a pretty rare incarnation cross, but it's funny because a lot of women in here who come actually have the same incarnation cross. So there's a lot of cross of four ways in here.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
we've got
Oh,
Lacey, a 3-5 reflector, cross of rulership in Nashville, and about to move back to LA. Congrats. That's amazing. That's so exciting. We've got Austin, Texas, decent weather, getting a walk in. Awesome. A 3-5 right angle cross of Sphinx 4. 3-5 cross of tension. Hello, my cross of tension sister. Escondido, a 5-1 left angle cross of incarnation. I don't know that one. I'll have to look that one up. Um, Belgium 1-3. Oh my God, Britt, I did not know that you were cross of tension. That is so funny. And like so it just makes sense. It's like I kind of actually I feel like I already knew that, but I didn't actually know that. 4-6 cross of rulership from Nashville. Yeah, I heard that Caitlin and Lacey are like, I mean, we're all soul sisters, but they both are living in Nashville, so they've been getting together on like the full moon and stuff like that, which is so cool. Well, now, Caitlin, now you just have an excuse to go to LA. So you'll have to go visit. You'll have to go visit Lacey in LA. We're gonna give everybody a couple more minutes just to get on. Maybe we'll give it to like 1:10. Um, but yeah, let's just any fun stuff on the horizon for this year? I'm really curious what everybody has planned, anything exciting, and I'm pulling up my notes for today to make sure that I don't miss anything because I will be giving our lunar forecast. I'm not usually the one to do this because I'm not an astrologer. I'm not a human design expert. But January was a crazy month for me. So I was like, you know what? I haven't had time to like plan who's going to come in. So we're just going to roll with this thing. Eva, 5-1 reflector, lacks of upheaval, 2. Okay. Denver, Colorado. Y'all, I am tired. I'm sleeping so much. Yes. I mean, we're literally like, we're still in the depths of winter. So that totally makes sense. Neptune in Aries is tearing into our bodies. And we have Jocelyn in the house, which is awesome because anything that I happen to miss today, Jocelyn, you can add in all of your knowledge because you have so much. And I'm so glad to see you. It's been a while since I've seen you. So that's awesome. Okay, cool. We're going to give everyone a couple more minutes to jump on. We're dropping in the chat where we're coming in from, our profile. The whole point of these is just to connect with other reflectors because it's very rare that you run into a reflector in the wild. But I just wanted to run through a quick little agenda for today, just so that you know kind of what to expect. We're going to talk a little bit about this month's full moon. Okay, we're going to gain a little lunar awareness that will probably explain what we already know in a way. I don't know about you, but I feel like whenever I read information on the full moon of like, this is the energy of the full moon, it's always kind of like a, yes, like this is exactly what I've been feeling. It's never a surprise. It's never like, oh, this is like, huh, like this isn't what I'm feeling. It always, I feel like, applies to my life. And it's just this like cool sensation of this like deeper knowing. I don't know if anybody else ever feels that way. Like I was reading up on this month's full moon and I was like, "Oh my God, this is like everything I was already feeling." So I'm curious if anybody else experiences that. And so we'll talk a little bit of astrology. We're going to talk a little bit of human design. We're not going to spend too long there. And then we're going to do a fun little witchy ritual, which we've never really done one of these on this call. So that's exciting. So actually, if you didn't see the email that I sent you an email about 90 minutes ago, but you may have missed it. So you'll want to grab a couple of things. We'll give everybody a couple minutes, maybe while we're waiting for everyone else to trickle on. So a couple things that you're going to need. You're going to need a piece of paper, something to write with. Okay. So you'll need your pen. And it can just be like a little piece of paper. It doesn't have to be a big piece of paper. We're not going to be doing a lot of writing. We're just going to be writing like a sentence. Okay. So a pen, a piece of paper. You'll also need a lighter or a match. Hopefully everyone has one of these on hand. So you'll need a lighter. And if you can't find a lighter, then water will also do because we're in all of these materials are really symbolic, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. So, and then you'll need also, so piece of paper, something to write with, a lighter, and then grab like, this is an ashtray, but you can also grab like a bowl. Make sure it's not plastic or paper. Make sure it's like ceramic or a pot, a metal pot or something like that. So piece of paper, something to write with, a little metal pot like this, or bowl that's in your cabinet. Um, and grab a little bit of water too. So, everybody, and this is optional, of course. You do not have to participate in the little ritual. It's just going to be something like kind of fun that's just going to connect us to our inner child. I don't know about you, but when I was little, I would like go outside and make like potions and mix dirt together. We're going to get our witchy on a little bit. So, grab your materials, and you can probably guess what we're gonna be using these for, right? Paper, fire. We're going to be burning a little bit. And there's a lot of symbolism in these materials. So I'm excited to get to that and to do that together. And then of course we'll be breaking into some small groups for some just casual chit chat time because like I said, the whole point of these meetups is for us to just get to connect with other reflectors because yeah, I've only met a reflector like in the wild one time, and she was in her 70s. Her name was Ruth. And she had on this shirt with this image of a mirror on it. And the mirror looked exactly like a mirror that I actually have in this room. And then I realized that it said like human design on it, and come to find out she's a reflector who had traveled to Australia twice in her life to go to these human design conferences and studied under one of the biggest names in human design. I forget who that was. But we ended up talking for almost 3 hours in that coffee shop, and we became friends. And that's the only reflector that I ever met in the wild. And Ruth actually passed away in it was either August or September of this past year. So rest in peace, Ruth. She was so magical. But yeah, so that's the only time I've ever met a reflector in the wild. So this space is created for that, right? It's created for us to intentionally meet up every month to connect and to share stories. Because when you're a lunar being living in a world of solar beings, right? Our identity it can kind of mirror that of a fixed being. It's just so refreshing, and it's so magical to be in a room of other lunar beings who are fluid. And me and Holly kind of talk about this. I feel like whenever I'm around, 99% of people, the generators, the manifestors, the projectors, it kind of ripples my water a little bit. Like if I was just like a pond, like the energy ripples our water, right? But being in a room of other reflectors, it just kind of feels like that water gets to be still, and it's just a different experience. Like you really don't know until you know. So if this is your first time meeting with us, I'm so excited to have you here. And let's get into it. So we're going to talk a little bit about where we are right now, like energetically, collectively, because this full moon is actually a really meaningful one. And it's like it's sort of this threshold. It's sort of this moment. We're about to walk through a threshold for sure, because February 1st is actually the midpoint between the solstice and the equinox, which means if you're in the northern hemisphere, we're stepping out of the darkest 3 months of the year. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, like Andrea is, I think, you're stepping out of the brightest 3 months of the year. Okay, so there's a real shift in light that's happening right now, but not in like a dramatic everything changes overnight kind of way. We're leading up to that, but this is more of this is like energetic preparation for a lot of energetic changes that are going to be happening in the cosmos within the next 6 weeks. So it's sort of like just this subtle moment where we realize, like, oh, something is kind of different here. So this moment um, is associated with cleansing through fire. Okay, so it's the Leo full moon, which is heart and fire and true leadership. And it's asking us to make space. It's asking us to clear something out, almost like choosing a corner of your home, right? Or your psyche. It's our physical and it's our internal, right? And we're saying this can go. This can go. We can let go of this. And it's a really significant full moon because this is the full moon before eclipse season. So we have two eclipses coming up in the next 6 weeks. And we're also sort of coming up to several major planetary shifts that are happening, that are going to happen. So this moon isn't necessarily the one that's going to come bulldoze your entire life, right? It's actually incredibly helpful. It's actually incredibly gentle and soft because this moon is kind of saying, "Hey, there's some big things that are on the horizon. Let's do a little prep work. Let's lighten the load a little bit before we come into this really intense cosmic season." So this is a Leo full moon, and Leo gets kind of a weird reputation. Any Leos in the house? Drop in the chat if we have any Leos in the house. And I think people usually hear Leo and they think like drama, right? And they think over the top and they think ego, right? But what's missing in that is sort of the entire point of Leo energy. Leo energy in its highest expression is not performative. It's not necessarily doing something for the purpose of attention. Leos attract a lot of attention, but that's not necessarily their intention in who they are, right? That pure Leo energy is the heart. It's childlike wonder. Okay. It's joy, it's courage, it's creative leadership, it's doing what sets your heart and soul on fire in the best way. No Leo's in the house, huh? So, and honestly, when you look at the world right now, when you look at where things feel like they're crumbling, this is what we're really longing for is sort of that heart-led Leo leadership energy. There's no better visionary than the heart. There's no clearer path than that, than one that comes from that place, from the heart. And the challenge of this full moon is that it asks us to move our thinking from the head into the heart, right? And it's like this isn't just like poetic, right? The head and the heart. There's that's all they always say they're in conflict with each other, right? But historically, like back in time across cultures, the heart was considered the seat of logic. Our ancestors believed that the third eye was through the heart, not the mind. And I found that fascinating. I was like, wow, we've really now it's like we've totally flipped that story, right? But they believed that the energy moves through the heart. Justice, clarity, truth are all found in the heart, not the mind. And then somewhere along the way in westernized culture, we flipped that story. Leo moon, awesome. Now, the mind is logical. Like now people see the mind as logical and trustworthy, right? But the heart and now the heart is seen as like emotional and unreliable. But that inversion of thinking the mind is logical and the heart is emotional and unreliable, that feels like wrong for me. I don't know about you, but it feels disconnected, right? And so this moon is really asking us, where are you waiting for answers from your mind when the clarity is actually in your heart? Right. And as reflectors, our intuition obviously lives in the spleen, but it also lives in the heart because we feel our way into truth, right? We can't always rationalize the intuition. Um, And Aquarius, we're also in like opposing Aquarius energy. Okay. So we're like releasing the old and inviting the new because there's this backdrop of Aquarius season. There's so much Aquarius energy right now. The Sun, Mars, Venus, Mercury, and Pluto, I think, are all in Aquarius, which is like any Aquarius in here. My husband's an Aquarius. And my MC is in Aquarius. We have oh no, my Saturn's in Aquarius. We have so much Aquarius energy right now, which is like big vision, innovation, new systems, future timelines, right? This full moon is in opposition to all of that, which means we're sort of at this like release point. We're bathing in this like Aquarian light. And not everything is falling away tonight, but things that are ready to go are making themselves known, right? We're completing these massive cycles. We're completing this Saturn cycle, this Neptune cycle. Like years of heaviness and sort of confusion and disillusion are melting away. And this moon is sort of like a cleansing bath before what comes next. So not everything comes with us, and that's okay. And in many traditions, like the Chinese, Mayan, Egyptian, Jewish, Buddhist, the new year doesn't start on January 1st. It begins with the new moon that falls somewhere between January 21st and February 20th. So, and this year it's on the 17th. So that means we haven't even experienced the new year, which would make this moon the final full moon of the year of the snake. So it's that final full moon, that final release of this year that was just a culmination of past identities and things that are no longer serving us, shedding. We're shedding all of those things. And it's crazy to think about like being on that timeline that's more natural with the seasons versus like the idea that the new year has already passed. It already passed on the first. So it's perfect for that because Leo, like for this to be the last full moon of the year of the snake, if we're looking at the Chinese lunar calendar, this full moon is perfect for that because Leo is that innocent, joyful. inner child that exists within all of us who just wants to express, right? Without the fear of being seen, without worrying about reactions and consequences, without like self-censoring. Okay. But conditioning pulls us out of that state. And as reflectors, we are the most open to conditioning. We can get so far away from that state. My Chiron is in Leo. So this is kind of a fun energy to play with. This is kind of where I need to, yeah, just shed that deconditioning, right? And really step into my power here. And this moon is really, it's gently ushering us back through remembering who we are at the core of our being before that conditioning happened. If we were to strip away all the years of learning who we needed to be in order to be safe, in order to be accepted and loved and understood by others, that's where the conditioning happens, right? Is because we want to be safe and accepted and loved, we become whoever we need to be in order to receive those things. So it's who was I before I learned who I needed to be in order to be accepted by everyone. If I had not gone through the suffering and the rejection and the negative stories and maybe, upbringing and conditional love from parents, right? If I had gotten what I needed as a kid, who would I be? How would my identity be different? So this is a very empowering and sort of a visionary moment that is meant to set our heart on fire, right? So the question I think that we're all sitting with today is, where are you being asked? And I'll drop these in the chat. Let me drop these in the chat so we can have these after the call if we want them. So where are you being asked to lead from a gift that only you have, that you've been downplaying or maybe overlooking, right? Where are you being invited to trust your heart over your mind? That's really hard for me. I live up here. Okay. I make decisions from up here. I react from up here. I have to very consciously bring myself back to the heart. And what are you ready to clear because you can't carry it forward anymore? Right? In order to become or not even become, because you're already her, right? You learned not to be her, but to be that innocent, carefree, expressed, not caring about other people's perceptions, to become that inner child again. What can you no longer carry forward in order to be her? Right. And this full moon isn't like about the pressure to figure it all out and to drop everything to become a brand new person, right? This is more of a remembering that I think this Leo full moon brings us into is our power. So we don't need to put pressure on the process, right? If you're like, what, I don't know what I need to leave behind and all this stuff, we don't have to overthink it. Okay. This moon is just a gentle landing, and you may feel that more in the days to follow. You may feel that more in the days to follow than right this moment. So with all of that in mind, this is why we're working with fire today. And this is why we're writing some things down. And we're intentionally releasing something that we choose. We're choosing not to bring with us as this energy shifts into the year of the horse, which is going to be, we're going to make it the best year ever. So I want everyone, hopefully, if you don't already have, hopefully you have a piece of paper. It can be a really small piece of paper like this, a pen. We also want a bowl. This is a little ashtray. So grab a bowl. I just want to make sure I can't see everyone. So I just want to make sure, maybe drop it in the chat if you're ready. Drop in the chat, and you don't have to turn your camera on, no pressure there, but it's just helpful for me to make sure everybody has what they need. No one's running around scrambling to get it. So we have our piece of paper, we have a pen, we need a form of fire. Mine's got a little T-Rex riding a scooter over the moon. We need a bowl because we need to put our flame in something. We don't want it to burn us. And then also it's good to just have a little bit of water nearby. And it's funny because I was thinking, I was like, what should we do on this full moon? What would be like a fun way to to do this. And I've never done a little ritual like this with a group at one of our full moon meetups. This is something I would usually do on my own, but honestly, I was thinking about like what do I want to do for this full moon meetup? What would be fun, to bring out that Leo energy and just connect with our inner child. And as a little girl, I used to love doing shit like this. I used to love like just these witchy rituals, and it's so much better to get to do it like all together. So if you feel like this is weird, I hear you. You do not need to participate. You can also stay open to it, to the symbolism of just the experience, and but you also don't have to do it at all, and that's okay too. So but maybe you'll find this to be fun and interesting and sort of intuitive to connect with yourself and call in your desires. So everybody grab your materials. Let's slow down. Take a little sip of water if you have one. Just take a deep breath and kind of arrive. The first thing I want you to do is to bring to mind a version of yourself. Okay. Now you can close your eyes if you want. Like I said, take a deep breath and just kind of arrive here. And I want you to picture yourself walking across the street. This is a version of yourself who leads herself and other people from her heart. Like actually from her heart, not what she thinks she should do or what makes sense on paper or what's the safest or what's going to please the most people, what will keep the most people happy with her. She is so connected to her heart, right? And as a result, she's living a life that feels like hers. It's not perfect, but it's hers. Okay, I want you to picture her. And you don't need to describe her. Like you don't have to have words for her, but I just want you to see her. Like what's her energy? How does she move? Imagine her walking down the street. How does she carry herself? What does it feel like to be near her? Right? What's the energy that you can feel in your body? When I think about her for me, I kind of get goosebumps. And just notice what comes up, right? Now, I want you to write really small. Keep her in your mind and grab your piece of paper. And it should be a really small piece of paper. We don't want a big piece of paper that's like impossible to burn. So keep that version of you in your mind. And again, we're not like describing her. We don't even need to have words, but it's a feeling. It is a feeling to be with that version of us who lives entirely from her heart. She doesn't overthink, right? She's full of joy. She's full of light. And I want you to think about, what do I need to let go of in order to be more like her? And this can be anything. This could be like a habit. This could be an experience that you're still holding on to. This could be an identity, a story, just an energy, right? That feels heavy or outdated. This can be really deep or this can be really surface level. There's no right answer here. And I want you to write it on this piece of paper of what is the thing that you need to let go of, no longer do, in order for you to operate more from your heart, that heart-led leadership. And as you're writing it, I want you to hold this from a really specific place, okay? This is not from the place of like, I'm not her yet, right? This is not like a comparison of, oh, she's better. Oh, this is like my highest self. We are already that person that we're envisioning. This is a feeling of inevitability. Like it's only a matter of time. I become her without forcing it. I become her when I'm not even trying, right? When I simply focus on my joy and my passion. It's more like, not like I'm not her yet, but it's more like, of course, this is where I'm headed. So, what is that thing? that you are being asked to let go of. And this is not a wish that we need to keep secret. We're not blowing out some birthday candles. So you can feel free to drop it in the chat. I'll share what mine is. I need to let go of allowing people's perceptions of me to change the way I see myself, right? For me to operate from my heart and to be in that childlike Leo, confident energy, I need to let go of, yeah, letting people's perceptions of me mean anything about myself. And I need to remain in the truth that projections and perceptions and judgments, it tells me a story of the person that it's coming from. But for many, many years, I've allowed it to mean something about me and to perpetuate those stories of not being enough, of being this, of being that. I've absorbed people's perceptions of me, right? Which their perception of me is a reflection of them. So it really has been me like outsourcing my identity. That's what I have to let go of. Yeah, Judy, same. Yes, those outside perspectives that don't mean shit about us. That's what I have to let go of. So write it down on your piece of paper. Letting go my failure identity, the feeling that I'm too much for others, my conviction that nobody wants to hear what I have to say. Yes. I need to let go of self-doubt and the belief that what I need is outside of myself, overfunctioning, hypervigilance, over-identification with the mind, and pressure to understand. Over acceptance and embodiment. Yes. Perception of others as well. They're all distractions. Yes, they're distractions and they're distortions. They distort. And that's really what it comes down to for being a reflector is knowing yourself so deeply and so intimately and that self-concept being so strong and unwavering that nobody's projections and perceptions and judgments shake that and make us question or make us confused about our identity, about who we are, right? But someone misunderstanding us doesn't threaten our concept of self. So whatever needs to go so that you can lead yourself more from your heart. And as a result, there's going to be a ripple effect of the impact that that makes. Carrying weight that isn't mine, yes. Expectations of outcomes, timing, and knowing the answers. I want to know now. Living in my head, amen. Reopening old wounds, revisiting old patterns and habits. Yes, yes. There is no place for this, right? And it doesn't just disappear, right? Just because we like acknowledge that, it's not, but it's the work. It's the work. It's agreeing to committing to this work. So when you're done writing on your piece of paper, certainty, yes, brutally learning this in the best way right now, letting go of certainty to feel safe. Yes, it's like that internal safety within ourselves. So grab your piece of paper, grab your bowl. We don't want to be just lighting this. Well, you can do what you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Okay. And when you feel ready, there's no rush here, but you're going to light it and you're just going to watch it burn. And you don't need to visualize anything special, right? If any point you need to stop because the flame is too strong or whatever, that's okay. That's why you've got the water. Okay. And we're just gonna light it. Ooh. And the reason you have the water right here, if you need it and you can use it, it's actually not interrupting the ritual. It is the ritual because it carries that Aquarius water bearer energy. So if you need the water, you have it. Let the fire release. Let it cleanse. And when you're done, just take a breath. You don't need to feel different. There's not like this big dramatic emotional moment. Something has already shifted long before this little ritual. But so, yeah. And with that, we've got about 20 minutes to meet in some small groups because that's what all of this is about. It's just about meeting women and meeting reflectors, and it's so funny all of the synchronicities and the stuff that we just have in common. But it's very rare that we meet reflectors in the wild and get to spend some time just relating and connecting and sharing and just like hearing what all we have in common. So we'll do a small breakout room. And if anybody, well, what do we think? So we have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. So maybe we do two rooms. Because some folks might not have their camera on, they may not be here to share, and that's okay if you want to share and you want to jump off or jump in and no worries, Caitlin. Thanks for coming. It was good to know that you were here. Have an awesome rest of your day and an awesome week. So yeah, so we'll just break into some breakout rooms and we can talk about anything. Um, if it's helpful, this is kind of like speed dating. So we can share, I know some of us shared in the chat like what we're letting go of, but I I I think we just talk about, yeah, what we're letting go of, what we're feeling around this full moon, what we're calling in for the year. You can share when you found out you were a reflector, right? Maybe there's some really interesting similarities in our stories and stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and do the breakout rooms. We'll do we'll do two breakout rooms just in case. Like I said, there's no let's see, one, two, three. Okay, awesome. And so listen, if you end up in a room. So in room one, we have Eva, Jocelyn, Judy, and once everyone is in those breakout rooms, I'm going to jump into one of these. And then in room two, we have Alexis, Bree, Britt, and Lacey. If you end up in a room and no one's on and you're just kind of talking to yourself, feel free to jump out of that room. You can leave that room and come back into like the main room, and then I'll just put you in a different room. Um, Okay, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and open all rooms, and we're going to have about like 8 to 10 minutes just chatting, and then we'll be back in here. So all rooms are open. Feel free to jump in at any time. Hey,
Yeah.
can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Eva, did you get your hair done?
I mean, she got like darker.
It looks
Yeah.
darker.
Nothing crazy, but thank you so much for noticing, girl. Thank you so much for noticing. I see you
Yes.
like once a month.
I know. It looks darker. I was like, she definitely colored her hair. Is that your natural?
Hello, and people. Yeah, we're embodying the natural. We don't need to bleach my head for a while. It's okay. Yeah, thank you so much for noticing.
Of course. How are y'all feeling with this new year? What's new? What's going on?
I'm like loving life. Like I'm like feel so bad because it's like I feel like I'm 42 years old. I have my Uranus opposition coming like next year. Like I know who I am. Like I've been doing the experiment for 4 years now, and I'm just like obsessed with my lunar dance. Like I don't even fucking care anymore. Like I'm just letting more let go, let go. I'm constantly letting go of shit, and like so much comes back. I've been doing this for like a few years now, so it's like interesting.
Yes.
And I know Jocelyn from Evolve from Marco Reiki from
Okay.
when I first started human design. So we like clicked there too at some point. Like it's just crazy. They
It's
were
such
all
a
like
small
getting
world. It's such a small
together.
world. Like there's only so many of us, so I feel like there's a lot of us who have been in like other courses or like other reflector like spaces together. So you found
Yeah.
out you were a reflector 4 years ago.
Hmm.
So back in, was that 2021?
Yeah, I think so. I have to look at the dates specifically. What year are we in now? Like 26?
Yeah.
The 2022?
So like around kind of like COVID time.
Yeah, after a couple years after, for not COVID, but yeah, because I found out about it like during COVID, but I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, no one's that special. You know what I mean? Like, like because I don't know. I think like we're very humble beings, reflectors, kind of. We kind of like tend to like shrink a little, feel comfortable. I've
Mm-hmm.
noticed that seems to be a theme for us. So, it's hard. And then, it's like, I think also like very common for us too, if the spiritual community is not correct, we
Mm-hmm.
kind of are like, push it away.
Mm-hmm. So how did you find out that you were a reflector?
I'm sorry, what?
How did you find out that you were a reflector? Like, did someone ask you like what your human design was and then you went and looked it up?
No, I was actually it's so funny. I was very inquisitive because I'm a Cancer rising. So I was trying to go through like, my life was a mess. It was a fucking mess, like dumpster fire, like shit everywhere, like fucking mess. And I was like, oh, like maybe if I wasn't organized, I felt like, I couldn't get my shit together, and very like super common for us, right? Like I had no consistency. So I
Uh-huh.
was trying to find consistency within the moon cycle. So I was like, maybe if I try clean during a Virgo moon, like it'll be better, or organize this, or maybe if it's in this house or that house. And then, I was like, I need to do something outside of astrology because it's not doing it for me. And that's when I stumbled on it.
Yeah. When you found out that you were a reflector, were you like how did you feel? Was it like, oh yeah, duh? Like did you like was there like a knowing or were you like surprised or was it like were you sad or what was your reaction?
It was more like, oh, this is cool, like more questionable. Like I'm like, okay, I'll take a month to think about it. Like I read the like, and I was like, you know what, maybe this is like the what I need. Like, you know what I mean? It was like almost like a peaceful thing. It wasn't like an energy or anything. It was just very like, this is what I'm gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna see it for a month, and then after like a month, I was like, okay, let me go read more about it. And then after a month after that, I got bombarded during the spring with information and people, and I got into a study group with a manifester. I was like in Evolve, like all these things that started amping up.
Hmm. Yeah. Eva, when did you learn that you were a reflector?
I realized I've been studying human design for like almost a decade, like not knowing it. I learned, no, that's a lie. I learned when I was 20, set less than a decade, like 7, 8 years. I learned when I was 27, my therapist brought it up in a therapy session, which is like a weird thing to do for a
Wow.
therapist based on my experience with mental
Your
health
therapist is
and
awesome.
counseling. So I was like, this chick is sick. She brought it up, looked at my chart, and then was like, oh, your reflector explained the, surface level description of what everybody knows about a reflector.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, wow, this makes so much sense. It was kind of like the first time of being seen instead of being like weird or strange or out there or like kind of too emotional. But in the past few years, have been doing solar chart readings with one of my mom's friends, and so that's been really, really helpful of like understanding what energy this year is going to bring,
Mhm.
instead of feeling like I'm just kind of in the washing machine trying to stay afloat. Because my for this full moon too, my Leo is in the 10th house with Chiron and Venus. So there's a lot of like visibility and career and kind of like sovereignty and all that jazz. So it's been really interesting the past few months maneuvering through that. And I remember on another call you were talking, or you had invited an astrologer to kind of come in and talk about how the full moons are really like 6 month cycles
Mm-hmm.
of new moon, full moon, and kind of how that works with visioning and like letting go. I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm getting that right. So
Yeah.
this one is hitting very close to home. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
of just like, yeah, because I guess it's a 6 month cycle from like, so that would mean that we're finishing a cycle that started in like June, right? Because
Yeah. Like July or August.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Leo season.
Leo season. Oh my God.
Yes. Thank
Jocelyn,
you.
genius.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Duh.
August, July and August, yeah.
Should have been-
Um,
Yeah.
which makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah. I need to think about that a little bit. I need to like think about, you know, what's kind of coming to a close. Yeah. You're married, right?
Hmm.
Who do you know your husband's design?
He is a projector, and I'm at a point where I probably need to start diving into his design as well. He is a 3/5 splenic projector. Yeah, so there's a lot of open centers in our household.
Yeah. But that's so nice because I mean, I feel like I love projectors. Like I love me a projector.
Yeah. Um, I have like several friends that if their chart information is correct, I think like four of my best friends are projectors. So it was kind of interesting to come across that. And a lot of family members are projectors as well.
Hmm. I really need to get my like siblings' birth charts. I need to ask my mom for that. Um, and two, my husband, so I'm married to a 1-3 generator.
Mhm.
But that's they what'd you say?
And I'm so curious about that dynamic.
It's like the best and the worst. Um, like it's like he was gone for a week and I was like, wow. I had sent my friend a voice note right after having a conversation with my husband and then my husband was gone for the week and I like listened back to that voice note and I was like, who is that person? Like I did not even recognize her. I was like, wow, this is like I couldn't even listen to it. I had to stop listening to it because I was like cringing so much. But it's like such a life hack because um, as an entrepreneur, he works like a 9 to 5. He works remote.
Hmm.
He's in like corporate tech sales. So he's Mr. Consistency, which is great for me. But it's also great when he leaves. But then I can really tell like it's crazy because I have a lot of root energy. Like I'm a very I don't know. I'm a pressure cooker. Like I can really be a pressure cooker. That's like my as a cross of tension, heavy root and crown energy. And so like I feel like I'm creative and inspired and motivated when he's around and then he leaves. And I'm sort of bitch slapped with the fact that I'm just reflecting his sacral energy. Like when he's gone, all I want to do is just like lay around and watch Netflix and like turn my brain off,
Hmm.
which is great, but so it's weird. It's definitely weird.
I Yeah, I have a few friends that are like Manny Gens, and I think I hang out with them when I know I'm gonna, I need more energy or I'm open to that energy, and I can feel the Manny Gen just like going everywhere, and I'm like, are you well? Do you
Are
need
you
to?
okay?
Are you? Do you want to? Do you need to rest? Are you good? Have you injured yourself recently? But that's been coming up really, really often too. Jocelyn, you're really or like in like I'm gonna guess educated and or versatile in things astrology and human design. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, I guess so.
She's just
I
like
guess
spitting
that's that
she's spitting
humble.
facts.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. That's all. It was a nice surprise. But yeah, yeah, I would say so.
Okay. How
And
long have you
question
been
bringing out
studying?
the best information from me. So I started studying I want to say 2018, so maybe like 8 years now.
Wow. Okay. Um, Chris, I also wanted to ask you about your Chiron because you said, oh my God, I'm like pulling from the archives here. You said your word for 2025 was visibility.
Mhm.
Am I making that up or is that from an actual memory?
That's a memory.
Okay. How did you like how did that come up for you and how did that go?
Yeah. It was, I mean, 2025 was definitely like my best favorite year yet. And I started out and picked my word visibility, and I started out doing this like visibility. I called it the visibility project. And basically I was just committing to, I came back to Instagram because I had built my business over on LinkedIn, and I wanted to kind of experiment over on Instagram and it be kind of like just like my passion project in a way, like just to be more expressed because I felt like I was really couldn't be my full self over on LinkedIn. Like it's not woo woo, it's very, I mean, yeah, if you know how it is over there. Yes. Yes. And it's very performative over there. So it started out as like a simple sort of visibility in the context of social media and business. And what I really realized, it like the word almost like it was my first year picking a word and actually really sticking with it and like really working on embodying it. And it sort of changed its meaning like throughout the year. I don't remember at some point I remember realizing like I'm not even really fully visible to my partner. Like I'm not like there's certain aspects of myself that I hide in a way. And by the end of the year, I realized that visibility was really a journey with like a journey of seeing myself clearly. So it went from just like, oh yeah, I want to be more visible on social media. And that meant posting more and being louder and saying my opinions and all this stuff. And then I realized like the reason that I feel unseen by everyone in my life and on social media is because I'm not seeing myself clearly. And it was like the year of this like identity shift of finally seeing myself separate from the identity that my family and my parents see me. Like there was so much shedding of just identity, and I realized 2025 was the year I realized that I'm that bitch. Simple as that. I realized I'm that bitch in 2025 because I finally saw myself that way, and when we see ourselves clearly, then everyone else can see us more clearly. So it was definitely a really great word. And now my word for 2026 is today. It's today because I realize that the thing keeping me from doing the things I want to do and being the person that I want to be and taking care of myself and pursuing things and like it all comes down to just like putting it off and thinking that we like have more time. Um, and so it's just the word today like brings me back to like presence, I guess you could say. So that's my word for this year.
Jocelyn, you had your like hand up. Is something coming up for you?
I just did that because I'm kind of all over the place over here, and if I hear you all acknowledge, that my hand was up, it helps me to get back to it. But I just along the lines of what you were saying in regard to visibility, something that I learned is that who I am is something that others can't discover unless they discover me in all the different environments that they can, because then they see the through line. That's me. And I realized because of that, not everyone is meant to see me per se. The identity or the personality that they experience is a sum of whatever is happening in that environment. Therefore, I have infinitely many different ways to express my essence or to show up. So when I let go of the need for people to see me and accepted that those that will see me ultimately are taking part in the experience of me in many different places, it made things more clear to me as to what I can do and what I should do, like for my business and just for myself to express myself, to invite people into my business. So, whereas before, specifically in regards to business, because business is real, my business is really synonymous to my identity for
Hmm.
real. And I think part of that is a big like juxtaposition thing. But I realized like I was trying to create the structure and model of my business and of all of my expressions in a very typical way. But I realized that like, okay, not everyone that's on my threads is supposed to be on my Instagram or is supposed to meet me in person or is supposed to meet me in communities. Like it's all in different places on purpose, intentionally. And when they all enter in is when they can find a space, where my worlds kind of come together. And then they really know and see me. But also just wanted to say I really love that your word for this year is today.
I so relate to everything that you said. Like in entrepreneurship for reflectors, it's just, you know, I just don't feel like we see people like it's so helpful for me to see. I follow a few reflectors um who have really successful businesses and like really large followings, and it's just so helpful because they just do things differently. Like I don't know what it is. They're not like they're not presenting themselves as an authority, and not that there's anything wrong with being an authority or having authority. I think we have that, but it's just in just a natural way. And their brands are more fluid and their identity is more fluid, and the content that they create is on a larger spectrum, and it just gives me like so much permission to just do things differently, not the way that 99% of mainstream marketers are like telling us that we have to do it. But it's hard to find those people that we like really really resonate with, um and like representation is so important just to see people do it a different way. um so yeah, I'm on the same journey for real of like figuring out like what does business look for me, what does social media look like for me, what does community look like for me, and it gets to be entirely whatever like we create it to be, just because other people aren't doing it that way, and just because we're getting advice for like you know one thing. I don't know, it's like we just have to give ourselves radical permission to just follow that inner voice, even if no one around us is doing the thing, you know? Shameless.
Jocelyn, I'd never thought about like how what Chris said about like feeling like you're hiding yourself, like you're not visible, is true to people who have only seen you or like only meet you so far in like certain environments versus people who've seen me in so many different environments have like a deeper understanding of like who I truly am. And it makes sense because I've been grappling with like how to show up online and feeling like different spaces feel different in an environment of like who you are being kind of in that identity. Thank you so much for saying that. Chris, who is like what is an example of the entrepreneurs that you see online that just kind of own their platform and their authority?
Yeah. I follow, do you know Rosie Blake?
I'm about to. I'm like
I
someone where I
can
love
I can
observing
send you.
people and kind of figuring it out.
Yeah, I can send you. So Rosie Blake is one. Another one is the Balanced Blonde. She's a reflector. Another is the Angie Lee Show.
Oh, she's a reflector?
Uh-huh.
No.
Yeah.
No. Whoa, oh my God. Okay.
Also Teal Swan is a reflector. I don't know if you know who that is.
I'm no.
Some people think she's kind of problematic and like really controversial. I love everything that she says. Like I fuck with her so hard. So Teal Swan is another. Yeah, she's amazing. Um,
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there's any other like reflector, like people who don't like they're not branding themselves as a reflector. They're just
Mhm.
like none of them like even talk about being a reflector.
Human design, yeah.
And that's why I love them, is because there's all these like reflector human design accounts, but I love when people are just like I've built these huge followings off of just who they are.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I can
Okay.
if I think of anyone else, I'll send them your way. Um,
Thank you so much.
yeah. Let's go back into the main room. We've been in here for about 15 minutes, so hopefully everyone's back in that main room and then we'll chat a little bit in there. Good to connect with you guys.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate today.
Okay. I'm not sure if we went beyond 10 minutes, so everyone in the other room may have just left, which is totally fine. Let's see if anyone else returns.
Eva, are you also an entrepreneur, a founder?
I am. I'm a certified professional career and business coach, and I'm in year 3 of entrepreneurship, meaning shit is starting to finally stick to the walls and we're figuring it.
That's amazing. I get what you mean. The link that I had put in there, I'm sorry to put it in there and not actually say much about it, but I run an entrepreneurial residency. And well, I mean, the information is in there. I tend to keep it pretty short unless certain questions are asked. But yeah, if you want to look into it and it resonates with you and you just want to chat about it, even if like you just want to chat about how it relates to how you're running your business and not necessarily become a participant on it, and let me know. The application link is just to schedule the session. So I just wanted to let you know that, you and Christine. And
Thank
I
you.
guess
I'll
for
check it
all
out.
of those who are listening, if you're an entrepreneur or a founder, love to chat with other, especially women reflector founders.
Yes. We need each other. I think almost everyone in here, I think everyone in here is an entrepreneur, actually. Loved our room. All the three lines. What were y'all talking about? What is that three line? Is that is that trial and error?
Oh yeah.
I want to hear about it.
Yeah, we really just talked about how we're just here to like fuck around and find out. And just a lot of people think we're so messy and we're just like, what are you doing? I'm like a mad scientist. I'm just like, yes, and we're so close. Oh, go back to the drawing room. Like, and just how that's how we love to live our lives. And other people around us can be like, y'all are like mentally unstable. Like, what's going on? So we talked a lot about mental instability, losing our minds to find ourselves. Yeah, year of the snake vibes, shedding, clearing. Did I miss some things? German new medicine, astrology. Yeah.
It is so comforting to be around y'all. I can't even. Just thanks. Like truly, I was telling Chris as I've been in and out of these sessions or these full moon with reflectors for the past, I don't know, 6 months or so. Has it been more than that?
It's been
Um,
since like May, I think.
yeah,
We connected.
it's the greatest medicine. It is the greatest sense of communion of like, oh my gosh, anything I might be like, spiraling about, or especially that third line of always feeling messy and being like, but that's part of the process. Like permission to be,
Yes.
period. I just find such a permission, and I'm so grateful for this space, especially women, like reflector women. It's just sacred as fuck. Thanks.
No, I feel exactly the same way. And what I wanted to say was I have heard that the three line is like the
Yeah.
hardest
Yeah.
like life to live. Because yeah, it's like you're supposed to fuck up.
hmm
Like you're supposed to like make mistakes, but
Yeah.
they're not mistakes. And then you get all of these projections from other people. I mean, obviously the five line is the
Yeah.
projection field, but I feel like the three line probably gets a lot of projections too, because, just the way that society is of like seeing people like that really is the process. Like your purpose is to fuck up, and it's to learn like what's on the other side of that and to like help inform the world
Yeah.
like what you learn like through that process, but it's so misunderstood by
It
people.
is. Well, it's like you were saying, Krista, it's essential for us to have like an unwavering sense of self. And that was when I went through in my 20s, an intensive like group therapy, and I was terrified of it first, but ended up being my favorite thing ever. It's before I found human design, but it was just um they told me when I was going through that system and that program, they were like, you have no sense of self. And I was like, "Nah, I know."
Yeah.
I was like, tell me something I don't know. But it's interesting how that was my fragmentation and my, distortion, mental health, like all the issues were from that. Not because anything was ever wrong with me, not because I was doing life wrong. It's just we have this mental pressure, especially in modern society, to get it right, to only be seen succeeding, and to be afraid of this, honestly, this true Leo childlike energy of like, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna be okay being a beginner. I'm gonna be okay falling in public. I'm gonna be okay, and that's why I think, like think of cancel culture being so big a couple years ago, and I guess there's still remnants of it, but like the fear of being wrong, the fear of not knowing, the fear of having a misunderstanding when it's like that's the whole point. That's the
Mm.
whole point.
Yes.
To fuck up and find out and to be able to say, I'm sorry, I don't know. I believed this, now I believe that. I was this, now I'm that. And I find that's still something even in my like family dynamics, where they're like, well, I thought you wanted this, I thought you wanted that. And I'm like, permission to change. Hello, but that has to come from me first.
Yeah.
I have to give myself, I have to have that unwavering sense of self of I'm allowed to change. I know I said that 8 hours ago or 2 weeks ago. Now it's this, and there's nothing wrong with that because I say there's nothing wrong with that. And if someone has a problem with that, that's not my problem.
I think that's actually like the most powerful form of leadership. Like
Yeah.
there's some people, who and there's nothing wrong with this, but it's like this is what we were talking about in our breakout room was like some people lead from that authority. They lead from like being on top of the mountain, looking
Mhm.
down. They're sort of on this pedestal. I think of like the maybe the 4-6, they say, I'm a 4-6 when I'm 50 years old.
Mm.
I'm the embodied role model. And at that point, I'm on top of the mountain and I'm just kind of in this embodied place. But like, I don't have to wait until I'm that person to lead. Like some people, like myself, I would rather walk alongside my leader.
Mhm.
And, like that's how we're supposed to lead, I think, as reflectors. And then even more as that three line of like, that's what makes you an amazing leader is that not that you're not going to make mistakes and fuck around and find out, but that it's you're not afraid to be seen in the
Mhm.
process because y'all are like walking permission slips. Because
Mhm.
I mean, three lines aren't the only people. Like everybody needs more of that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
everybody needs more permission to be seen in the messy middle, to be seen changing and fucking around and finding out. Like, and y'all are really the people who get to lead like from that place and give us permission, all of us permission to do the same thing.
Mm. I can't think of especially like what you were describing as leadership for me just feels like divine feminine leadership and integrated the blend of the masculine and feminine. But I think of like the Queen of Cups. I think of being emotionally mature enough to be authentic and to be in the process because we're always becoming. There, I hate the idea that was so conditioned into me of being full circle and only being useful when you're full circle, only being able to give advice or offer insight when you feel full circle put together, when you feel refined and presentable. I hate it because the opposite for me is true. My, I think, most powerful and impactful moments of even not even chosen leadership, but just leadership through embodiment and just existing has been through my visibility in my mess of
Mhm.
going, here I am, and going, I didn't try to do anything. I was just being, and I was okay with being seen in it. And that is more impactful because I love what you said about the walking permission slip. But I just think of all of us reflectors as being leaders, whether it's a chosen position or not, we are leaders.
Mhm.
Because even just our sense of us being like illuminary calibrators, it's like we're just calibrating each environment we step into. And whether we say anything or not, people are feeling and feeding off of and learning from our energy and our sovereignty and our clarity. That for me is so magical.
Yeah. There's like this thing that happens when a reflector speaks her truth. And I think it's the ripple effect is that people hear their own truth more clearly.
Mm,
Because like our truth is just a reflection of like the collective. You know what I'm saying? Like we are of the people, we are this like melting pot of the 99%. And
mm,
so when we speak our truth more clearly, like it just people see themselves in a way like that, if a fixed person was speaking their truth, I don't necessarily know that there's the same ripple effect, of like people seeing themselves in that truth. But I think when a reflector stands in their truth, there's just this divine connection to humanity that
mhm,
happens. Like I really do feel like we are like the uniters of the collective because
mhm,
we see everything. You know what I'm saying? Like you have these other categories of people who have these fixed hard wiring. They have the same pair of glasses on. They put on a pair of glasses and it's the same pair of glasses and they see the world through that lens for their entire life. But we change our glasses every 12 hours. We're putting on different glasses. So it's like that's like we represent everybody.
mhm. Which is why I wonder for y'all, has I mean, I know we're always kind of like liminal. But I've always sensed, and this was before I realized I was a reflector about 4 years ago, but this sense of being a bridge. I've always known I'm a bridge. And I think what you were just saying is no matter what profile line or cross of incarnation we have as reflectors, we are bridges to understanding for the rest of everyone's type.
Mhm.
Because you're right, the fixations that other people have serve the collective in a different way, but we're able to be bridges from like the ear to the mouth, or the mouth, to the hands. We're bridges, and we're able to connect where other people may not get it in the way that a reflector can translate. And that's just, ugh, I love us.
I do too. I really do too. And it's every time I talk to, because I have most people in my life are generators or projectors or
Mm,
whatever. And when I talk to them, like, I guess whenever I talk to a reflector, it's like, this is the conversation that we have. It's like seeing ourselves more clearly
mhm,
and like being able to, this is the conversation that we were kind of having, and Jocelyn said something really cool, and she was like, people can only really see me to the extent that I've been able to like see myself, and that's not exactly
mm,
what she said, but
mm,
and so visibility starts with like seeing our own reflection clearly, and
mm,
you know
mm.
Jocelyn, what is it that you were saying? I would love for you to reiterate it because you were talking about how, or maybe you said that nobody
Yeah,
is ever
I've
really.
got you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that, the only people who actually know us are the people who experience us in many different environments. because we are the through line. Our identity is the through line in all those different places. And just
Mm.
like you were saying a second ago that we put on new lenses every 12 hours, that's actually not true. We put them on every time someone new enters a room.
Oh yeah,
Every
same.
time any planet goes into a new line and gate, anytime anyone's mood shifts, like
Wow.
it's literally every time. And what happens, what I've noticed with myself is that that energy that they're feeling, whether they express it or not, which in my case they usually don't, and I have to bring it out of them because
Mm.
just like you all, I am that calibrator in every environment, in every room that I'm in, whether it's known or not, acknowledged or not. But that energy, it's like it gets placed on me as like a veil or like a filter. And in order to like it'll feel consuming. Like I'll feel like I'll see my life and experience my life and perceive my life
Mm.
through the lens of their energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that I was going to say. Like, I really appreciate this group because I don't acknowledge, or I haven't up until recently, how sensitive my body is. Like, if I took the human design language away, right, and I tried to have this conversation with anyone, the way that I would describe it is my body is incredibly sensitive. And there's no way for them to really truly understand that because it's like we're sensitive in ways that haven't even really been defined, I think,
Mm-hmm.
in like science and all the languages that are more regulated and traditional. But being in a room with other beings and other women who are also having this incredibly rare internal experience is absolutely liberating. It's everything that I needed now because I've said this a lot to my partner recently who truly does without being it really gets it, and I really appreciate my 4-6 Manny Gen partner. um but I I just I wish I could just like turn it off, take it off for a second, and I simply cannot.
Mm-hmm.
Especially being around like my baby girl. I love my baby girl. That's my bestie. That's my everything. That's my girl. Um, she's a generator, and she has I think she has 7 out of 9 centers.
Wow.
And um, my mother happens to also be a 4-1, but she is a generator as well. And then my partner is a little bit more sensitive with like 5 out of 9, I feel like. So like I try to tell them, even though you all aren't consciously depending on me, energetically and subconsciously, you're always tugging at me. There's not a single moment unless I am completely alone where I'm not feeling the tug of what you have going on me, which is why I try to emphasize like I need you to communicate with me your experience, like what's going on with you. It doesn't have to be any hard conversation any specific way, but I do, like my mother will have a tendency not to want to bother me with how she feels. I'm like, no, you need to give me that. I need to be able to see it so I can contain it. I
Mm-hmm.
need to be able to see it so I can identify how it's impacting my energy today. Because the
Mm-hmm.
way that it's impacting my energy today is not going to be how it is tomorrow. And because I can't explain that to you, I need you to help me by, bother me. Tell me how you're feeling today so that I can get a nice little overview of like how much I'm going to need to lock myself in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? To like remember myself is be like, okay, this is not mine. Like the biggest and most important thing about us being lunar beings is that it's about perception.
Mm.
The moon is the influencer of perception, and everyone else's perception of their life and their situation. Perception meaning the relationship you have with your direct environment. So everything they have going on gets placed on us.
Mhm.
And then we see what we got going on through that lens. It's nearly impossible to distinguish if we
Mhm.
don't get that time to ourselves, if we don't get that space regularly. One time a month, one half of a time in a week is not enough.
Mm-mm.
So anyway, all that to say, I think I answered your question. I was saying what you had asked me, Christine, but also I just am also thankful to be in this space with other women who have sensitive bodies and hypersensitive bodies and ultra rare experiences. I really, really needed that today.
Mm.
Thank you.
Jocelyn, what you said is like it's a take I've never heard before because
Mhm.
I feel like most of the time, you know, we resist the information that everybody's giving us. Like, it's almost like, I don't know. And then you're saying, actually, give me that information. I've not heard that before.
Yeah, I realized that it was, I partly discovered it, not partly, I discovered it as I was experimenting with my work, um, is that I need to be able to see all of the elements that I have to work with.
Mhm.
And maybe this is just me, but like if you drip information to me, then I'm so frustrated because I'm constantly adapting to everything, right? But if you give me all the elements at once, I can create a container as the calibrator of any room that is beneficial to anyone. And that's what we're so good at is I can make a room, I can make a space, I can make a container that accommodates everyone's individual needs and desires and concerns all at once.
Mm.
But if I don't have all of that information, then I'm creating the container and then I'm trying to add another fragment and add another fragment. Like, no, no, no. It's like when you have a puzzle, if you don't have all the pieces at once to work with to start putting together, then you hardly even know what's happening here. It's just like, am I putting something together? Like, what's going on here? But if even if it's not the most or the fullest best articulation one can find about what's going on with them, me understanding how they're perceiving their challenges, their obstacles, their issues, their whatever the hell is going on,
Mm.
helps me identify which parts of what I'm feeling is coming from them on top of anything else. So if I don't, so I've identified that as a very minimum requirement in any space for me. Any space. I don't care if I know you or not. I will go and I will pressure test and I will, I'll extract the information so that I know what to do being the anchor in a room of people who don't even fully understand how I'm anchoring them,
Mhm.
and so I'll pose that as, hey, how are you feeling today?
Wow.
What are you going to be up to today? Or what are your intentions today? Because even if that changes, again, I can posture myself in a way
Ugh.
that allows me to go with it without all that resistance. I'm over it. All that resistance, it doesn't have to be there.
Mhm.
So since I know the parameters that I need, and since I'm ultimately the calibrator, I go ahead and I seek out those elements for sure.
Jocelyn, I feel like you've saved my marriage. Like you giving me the language by your sharing everything you just shared helps me to be able to translate myself better to my manifestor husband, he just has two defined centers, but he does not inform, and that's his strategy. But that man is shut down. And so you explaining the only thing I've been saying to everyone in my life for months is I just need so much more alone time than I can express to y'all. And I know no one gets it. I just need so much more alone time. But everything you just shared gave me language of being able to understand not only myself and how I navigate, but you just blew my mind. Thank you.
I'm really, truly so glad. It makes me feel good. It almost makes me emotional to hear because,
Please
of
let
course,
the emotions. I'm
I've
emotional.
been, having a time, and we've all been having our own, we got our own things going on. But I'm truly, this whole weekend, I was just like, oh my God, I need a certain type of release that my go-tos aren't giving me. And
Yeah.
um, and I'm sure you all resonate. Like when I give information that helps others, and that I can feel it kind of soothes out the others, it also makes me feel soothed. I mean, physically, viscerally, like in all the ways. I also feel like, oh, yes, finally, So I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate all of you. I'm thankful you all received me in such a way.
Well,
So
it's
much
like
love.
it's such a tool because when reflectors get around another reflector, like what was coming up for me in that is that Jocelyn, like you are so in your power.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's times, right? There's always times like we see ourselves, we see ourselves in a way that other people don't see us. So, but you have to be so in your power to be able to initiate receiving that information because I don't know, I feel like, my whole life, my parents and my family and everybody was putting this onto me. And as a child, we're not necessarily equipped to be, I call myself my parents' emotional support animal you know it's so funny like they'll get into it and something will happen and they'll call me separately to like and that's it's always been that way. I mean it has always been that way. There was a time where literally my grandmother was on oxygen and my aunt had dropped her off and she was running out of oxygen and there were this whole room of adults couldn't calm everyone down and figure out what was happening and me as a 10-year-old child was able to like calm my grandmother down long enough while all these adults are freaking out. And no one even acknowledged it. Like, no one came up to me and said, baby girl,
Mhm.
like, you are amazing. Like, no one saw me. They just used me. They just used me as their emotional support animal. And so I think that some of that resistance of like wanting that information comes from that inner child of being like overwhelmed and maybe feeling out of control and feeling like it's like too much. Like a reflector really has to be in her power
Mhm.
to willingly hold all of this and to be saying like give me this information. So it's
Yeah.
it's really sort of opening my eyes to ways that I can step into my power more and mature more. And I think that happens the more that we heal our inner child and kind of
Mhm.
get her out from behind the wheel. Like she's not
Yeah.
the vehicle, But if we didn't have emotionally mature parents, then we had no one to like teach us this.
Mhm.
Um,
Something else that I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm only
no,
doing this because
you're
I'll
good.
forget. But I I've had this conversation a couple of times recently where like naturally my partner wants me to put myself first. Like he loves when I put myself first. It's like it's kink, okay? And I love this for me also. And you hear people all the time like, go ahead, be selfish. Like nobody asked you to. But the thing is, I can't like the things that everyone else does to like be selfish and prioritize themselves and help themselves replenish and all. I can't just do those things. Like anchoring everyone else, making sure everyone else around me has their sacral or non-sacral satisfaction, their forms of contentment is how I serve myself. And
Mhm.
so it seems like I'm trying to put you first. Oh, I'm gonna cry. It seems like I'm trying to put you first, but it's really like if I don't, if I'm not holding space for you in that way, I can't find relief. And
Mhm.
it's not because I want to, it's not because I'm trying to be like, sure, do I consider myself fairly selfless? I guess, but I really love to serve myself, honestly. But serving myself looks like, has to look like holding this space for you. One, so that whatever you reflect back to me, I can see myself in, I can iterate all the things that I'm thinking, I can make the decisions for myself. And two, because once that energy is untangled in you, it's now untangled in my body. And that's a sensitivity that truly like people do not, they cannot get. They're just like, what do you mean you're not being like I don't give that much of a damn about what you got going on.
Mhm.
It's that my body cannot help but soak what you got going on in. And because you're sitting here in denial of it, it's even worse. And I have to be around you. Like, love, no, I can't just ignore you and go somewhere else. You're
Mhm.
in my space, you're in my orbit. Let's untangle the real so that I can mind my business. you know,
Mhm.
that's the truth of our internal experiences is that if you're feeling like shit and you're just tucking it under and just burying it further and further below, it's on me. Like,
Mhm.
come on. Like just come on into my bosom. So that we can both feel the way that we're supposed to feel. And I do, and I thank you for saying that. I do feel very much in my power. I spend I'm just of doubt. Like I spend all my time looking at patterns, asking questions, finding out like what's the through line of everything.
Mhm.
And these things that I've articulated are the through lines. It's just like in every uh, space that I've ever been in my entire life, it did seem like, and I used to deny this because I felt like, oh, what an arrogant thing to say. But it does kind of feel like everyone's orbiting around you and everybody's trying to sneak a look in the mirror, like
Yeah.
every time. So, just really important. And I'm really glad that it resonates with you all because it has saved my life literally in just like these instances of things being so difficult.
Mm.
What would you say, and anybody can answer this of just what their experience has been, but it's almost like being around a reflector demands that people be more self-aware.
Mhm.
Like what you're talking about, Jocelyn, it's like you know, and I'm sure like you're such a gift as we all are for the people that are in our lives because we are sometimes aware of things a lot of times, most of the time, we're aware of things that we see in another person before they're like even aware of it. So
Mhm.
like what would you say, and anyone can pop on here, like what would you say to like what if the people that we're surrounded with are not self-aware?
Mm.
You know?
I I don't believe personally that they have to be self-aware. Um it I am able to extract information from however they're perceiving whatever's going on with them.
Mm.
So if they're not self-aware, because we're natural, and I came to this before recently as well, like I've never been a teacher, I've always been a translator. I've
Mm.
never taught anyone anything new. Everything that I have comes from like, things that I've soaked up residually or soaked up in my one lines, but it's coming from you. So they don't have to be self-aware if there is, if you're in an environment where the people, they don't necessarily resonate with you, then I would question the environment itself, not necessarily the people, right? But if you're in an environment where as long as they're receptive to you, you can pick up on
Mm.
whatever it is. They're receptive to you and you spend your time, picking up all the information and knowledge that you can use to supplement that, in your response. You don't really need them to be self aware. You only need them to have a perception of something,
Mm.
Wow.
Mm.
you know.
That's so beautifully put because it adds on to like full like radical acceptance
Mhm.
of not needing any, it's like I was saying with the full circle, not needing others to be full circle. It's like I can accept you and work with you where you're at. Jocelyn, you said as long as they're receptive to us.
Mhm.
And I just love your way of translating souls, of translating and teaching and still being able to be in your sovereignty, in your empowerment of being in your purpose to help lead others towards their alignment by working with people, by understanding. You kept saying container, and I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Container is the word my soul has been giving me for like 6 months now because I had no containment. And you giving me the language to be able to go, hey, just tell me where, inform me where you're coming from. You don't need people to be something they're not, and because we can then have that universal neutrality and accept you're where you're supposed to be, I'm where I'm supposed to be. We're all in our alignment working together, even in our mis or perceived misalignment. It's so fascinating, but I just love the language you bring and the understanding, and the ability for us to still be in divine alignment and still be connected with others rather than at times on my like protecting myself and journey of finding that containment.
Mhm.
There are people that I've had to let go of because their awareness was not at the level I needed for connection. But then there's other people that are familial, that are my husband, my partner, my built-in, person I learn from, where it's like, okay, that is a different level of connection where we're not like we're meant to stay with connection. We're not meant to just say, oh, this doesn't serve me, so I'm gone. Like how else we're meant to have healthy confrontation and healthy communication. And so I just love everything you're saying about like, I don't need them to be anywhere other than where they are. I just need to understand their perception. That's just like, again, blowing my mind.
My daughter is here,
Oh,
letting me know, signaling that it's just about time for me to go. But I
oh,
heard you, and
so
I,
sweet.
like I said, I really appreciate that. I think this is the first time some of these things have come out, and so
Mm,
having that reflected back to me is just like, yeah, yeah, that's
powerful stuff.
that's and I've been having really a great time, like as an entrepreneur, not building but growing containers around what I already know about myself and like what I already know about how I interact with the world around me. And it's given me so much. I mean, it's giving me feedback just like that. It's just like I do feel in my bag just because I'm honoring that sensitivity so deeply,
Mm-hmm.
and not I'm finding ways to meet people where they are without compromising the parameters that are non-negotiable for
Mm.
me.
Because you're meeting
And the other
yourself.
part is, since it's non-negotiable, if
Yeah.
I'm in an environment in which I don't have that or I don't have some form of access to that, I already know that room is not for me. I can just
Mm-hmm.
leave.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel any way about anyone in that space who has something to say. It's like, okay, if you're feeling a way about me leaving this space, then you must want to connect with me. So come on and I'll connect with you individually
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and we'll go into another space, but otherwise, like I'm not lending out my energy to anything
Mm.
that's not accommodating to my sensitivity, because
Mm-hmm.
ultimately I need that. And that is everything. That's reality itself communicating to me like, oh, you don't have to be here. This is
Mm-hmm.
optional. This is a side quest. If you want to do it, fine. If you don't, like, and I think that's being kind. I think it's more like reality saying like you need to get the fuck on. Like get the fuck out of here. Thank you for
It's the
saying.
clarity. It's that clarity. You're so right. Instead of us rejecting ourselves or trying to force anything, it's going, oh no, that's information for me. It's not personal. I'm gone. I'm out. This ain't my space. Ugh,
Mhm.
man, this has been so good.
Mhm. Yeah, it's all data. Yeah. And it's really like what you said, Lacey, of like it's not personal.
No.
I've had to really work on, I can know that, but then, we take it personally. Even someone unsubscribing, because people will leave our orbit. Like, yes, people will circle around us, but there's also people who will reject our medicine because they don't
Mhm.
want to look at the reflection. Like, there's people who
Mm.
want to catch a glimpse of the mirror, and then there's people who don't want to. And it means nothing about like us and how they feel about us, but it's really like how they feel about themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they don't like what they see in the mirror. Yeah, and then they project that and they
Yeah.
think us.
Yeah. It's not our job to make them anything,
Hmm.
not to change people, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
And I don't think it's like narcissistic to say like, my presence is a gift.
Oh, yeah.
Like our presence is a gift. Like it was so good to connect with you, Jocelyn. Thanks for being here. Thank you for all of
Yes.
the wisdom.
Thank you.
Bye, Jocelyn.
Bye, Jocelyn.
But it's like, it took me a really long time to not feel guilty for saying, like, I have been chosen to carry these gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been chosen by God, creator, source, something much bigger than myself to carry these gifts. And some people aren't going to like that.
Because they can't. It's not even. I've just realized it's like they are jealous that are jealous or triggered, maybe even inspired by the fact that they can't give that to themselves yet. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? When you say I am chosen, they're not choosing themselves if they're triggered by that. And
Yes.
that if you say I am lucky, I am fortunate, I am abundant, I am blessed, and that's not something they've allowed themselves to believe about themselves, then of course literally comes as an attack on their system.
Yes.
And it's not, but I know it. Oh, we all know it because we've lived it. And
Yeah.
especially that third line. Do you go by Alexis or Lexi?
I go by either.
Okay,
I had
okay,
a,
cool.
with the whole things I shared in my group, I went through such an identity death. I reclaimed my
Yeah.
original name and took my husband's last name, added an A. So,
Hell yeah.
position, I'll accept either.
I love that. I literally just took off. So I know it still shows up here. My name Lacey Hartzell. I got married a couple years ago. I've been married before, but now I'm with the love of my life. Hallelujah. But I haven't added his name. I don't
Yeah, it
know.
took me a while.
Yeah, I'm like, but I also changed. I'm an actor and I shortened my name. I took away the Selle, and now I'm just Lacey Hart. And having an identity shift with this big shift internally has allowed me to like name myself. Even though it's still pretty much the same name, Lacey Hart's a Lacey Hart, it feels empowering to go, I fucking chose that. You
Yep,
know,
right.
that's,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Christine, that's
Man,
what I was talking about in the group is just like reclaiming our energy. I realized this past year, like my energy, our energy, and this is for anyone, but especially us, is our main currency.
mm,
And
it
I was
is.
saying how like my family, like I healed some anemia that I had, and it was like this ancestral pattern around leaking your life force energy, not valuing yourself, not like oxygenating your blood,
Yeah.
not allowing oxygen to come in. And I was saying how like my grandma and my mom would go and drive 30 minutes round trip to get free food because they won it on an app, or they'll
Mm.
like do really weird shit just to save money, but they're just spending their life force energy. And I noticed patterns of that. Like, so this year I've just been like slashing away anything. If I don't have energy for it that day, I don't do it. When I used to be like, I said I'll do it, I'll be there. It's like, no, I'm done with that pattern.
Mm.
Like for example, the I'm going to go back through the 28-day reflector experiment, but I went through probably another big shedding and death and rebirth. I was like, I thought we were done. Oh, no, we're not done. And I was like, there's nothing in me that wants to post on social media. I want to be off social media. I did like a detox and I
Yeah.
feel clearer and better than ever. But it's like, yeah, just reclaiming my energy and my presence as that's
Mhm.
the value, that's the gift. And oh my God, it's changed so much. I have like
Mhm.
no friends anymore and I love it. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, yes, nobody's asking me to hang out. I love it. I get to be in my own energy now and
Yeah.
create. And the new ones will come in soon.
Yes, I love that you said that because that's definitely been the refinement of my inner circle of like, I have given myself so much freedom as well to not respond to people in this season. Also, we're about to move to LA. Like, we're in a big life transition too. And I know it is about, and I'm like, it's just, hindsight is 2020. And of course, that's again that third line being like, God, I wish I'd known this a year ago. But yeah, having my people, like I have three best friends and my husband. And I guess I do have family members I'm in and out with.
Mhm.
They're doing their own journeys, their own work, but in and out. But having that core group of people who know me gives me the freedom to step into my sovereignty and to play out these new versions of me that are being born every day. But I'm also with you on the like brutal shedding. Man, panic attacks that I had a panic attack but it was great. It actually was great, but it was also horrible. I had a panic attack, and I haven't had one like this. I've had anxiety, but I haven't had a panic attack like this in over a year and a half, where I literally thought, "Am I losing my goddamn mind?" I was like, "What the fuck? Do I need to go to a mental hospital?" And that kind of a root fear, limiting belief had not plagued me for over a year and a half. And I was like, "What is going on?" But my soul anchored me in going, "Girl." This is not a regression.
Mhm.
This is whatever is left that needs to be burned out of you. And
Hmm.
energy, what I love about anxiety and panic, at least for me, always adds to the shakiness of my body. It's energy that is escaping your being. And so I know it's calibrating. And now I feel more anchored when it shakes through me. I used to be so like, I gotta escape my body. And I was like, I gotta get anywhere. I get outside. I can't breathe. And now my system is like, no, God is embodiment. God is, or creator, whatever source relief solution is right here on your breath. And it is so comforting to know that because of the brutal shedding and the what's left of my anxiety, my limiting beliefs, my doubts, my conditioning is coming up in such a clear way that I have to sit with it and face it and literally breathe through it. And I am. So I'm finding more. I just love the juxtaposition. I'm finding in the same week of like, I'm finding also like seriously like a tethered, anchored feeling of, oh, that's just part of my process right now. You know?
Hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah. Lacey, I mean, everybody, like, I've never met a reflector where I don't feel this way, but I'm just like, I just listen to you and same with you, Lexi and Jocelyn and everyone in here. I'm just like, we are all that bitch.
No, we are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what other way to explain it, but it's just,
Yeah.
I feel like I see everyone in here so clearly
Yeah.
of like, no, like, you're literally like the most powerful bitch.
We see it in ourselves.
Hmm.
Like this,
Hmm.
we always, our gift is that we do this for everyone else.
Yes.
But they don't always step into that potential. But
Yes.
for ourselves and each other, we really are that, and we really do reflect that in each other, which
Yeah.
is why it's so, someone mentioned it's like having alone time by being with each other. That's wild
Yes.
because they like developed a new personality type where they were like, I think they were trying to describe a reflector basically. They were like, it's not an ambivert, it's like a omnivore. I don't know what they called it, but they were like, by the right people, you are energized, and by the wrong people, you are drained. And I was like, that's just being a reflector. Because
Yes.
when we're around each other, it is just effortless. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
but
I'm not like it's like I'm not reflecting anything right now. Like,
yeah.
It feels so good.
yeah.
And I'm alone in my home. Well, my dog who's pestering me to feed him. But yeah, it's like I'm alone in my home and I've started to really love this alone time even more from my manifester husband, who
Mhm.
is just fiery and passionate and like he ignites and initiates. And I didn't realize that I had to do as much deconditioning from my own husband. I thought it was all the people outside, right? But I would find myself being like, I got to take action right now. I got to do something. I got it right. I'm like, oh, no, no, no. He's a man, first of all, different
Yeah.
hormonal cycles, and he's a manifester. And I'm like looking at his astrology chart, I'm like, this man's got so much Taurus and so much fucking Aries. And I'm like, oh no, no, what am I doing? And so that's how healed me in so many ways. Because I'll
Well,
feel
so
his fears and then I'm like, oh, I'm afraid now. I'm like, oh, nope, it's my husband's.
okay, we got to talk more about this at
Yeah,
some point because when you said I've never met another reflector with a manifestor partner
I know. What's
because
his
it's the most
profile?
rare, other than maybe reflectors together,
Right.
you know.
What's his profile, Lacey?
So he is a 6'2",
Okay.
and he only has two defined centers. He has his throat and his
Ooh.
emotional center. He's an emotional authority.
Ooh.
And he and I both are Aries ascendants. And so I do have a lot of manifesting. In fact, my sidereal, I'm a manifester. I don't know if y'all done your
Ah.
true sidereal. So, and my the right angle cross of rulership is a manifestation cross. And so I
Hmm.
know that I have so much, and I literally attracted a manifester. So I'm like, I know that he and I serve each other, and we're sister signs. So what he's here to learn, I'm here to live out. What I'm here to learn, he's here to live out, and our gene
We're
keys are our
sister signs
opposition.
too, Taurus, Scorpio.
So you see how we magnetized the literally when Chris is over here saying we really are that bitch, we all are, and
Yeah.
it's so cool to look at the dynamics and the way we have lived our lives and attracted really challenging dynamics to be able to be stretched to our capacity to learn new. You know what I mean? Like it's just so cool to see how addicted we are to growth and to awareness. We can't, we're so confrontational. I love it.
Yeah. Without even realizing it, without even, it's not like you consciously were like, oh, well, I'm a manifester and this is it. Like you
No.
just naturally attract
You know
it.
what's funny? At the time, I met him 6 to 9 months before I found out I was a reflector and before I was introduced to human design. I knew I was very sensitive. I knew I didn't fit in. But
Yeah.
I actually was identifying myself outside of understanding what human design even was at this point. I was calling myself and identifying myself as a manifester. I was saying, I am a manifester. I am a manifester. And then I manifested a show where I met my husband on a reality show in Paris. I mean, it's life is crazy. And I manifested a manifester. And
Yes.
so then I find out about my human design and I'm like, actually, I'm a reflector. And it's just so fascinating to me to look at how powerful and how in control we've always been,
Yes.
you know, like co-creating all the way.
Even when like I think about like I attracted my husband when I like during a time when I did not have my shit together and
Mm,
Same.
was a mess. Like, and I hated myself. Like, I seriously hated, like, loathed myself. And he honestly showed me he's a 1-3 generator. And he
mm,
is just the most loyal, the most committed, the most like loving,
foundational.
accepting
Mm,
person. And he loved me before I loved myself and showed
mm,
me this love that I've never experienced, even at my worst. Like I was my worst self, but I say that and then I'm like, but I must not have been
mhm.
because I attracted this amazing,
You're so right.
like
Yeah.
I attracted my soulmate, you know.
Mm. But
So,
that's so beautiful because that's what I was saying about you don't have to be full circle.
yes.
And
Yep.
I think there is an idea, especially in dating, and I'm so glad we have our partners that give us an
Yeah.
anchor in life, because I
Yeah.
do think that's so helpful to,
Yes.
I look at how he has allowed me to become who I'm becoming
Yes.
because I've had more consistent, like yeah, I just see him being integral to my purpose as I am integral to his. But yeah, I think a lot of people have this idea in the collective that you have to be full circle to attract the right mate and to be mate partner. But it's like that's so not, and it's funny, I was empowered when I met him, but I met him on a reality show that was the most toxic environment, and they took away my sense of self that I had built. And so when we started dating after the show, I reverted to a very fragile, fragmented version of me, and I also had to confront, but I learned through that, through being the version of me I didn't want to be, that I was acceptable. Like that's where our partners showed us, oh, I love it. Like it's that redemptive, like they're able to see what we can't even see, you
Yes.
know? And that's
Yes.
so
Hmm.
beautiful. Ugh. I'm
Yes.
so
Such
happy
a
for
gift.
us.
I
I am too.
know.
Like I'm hearing about the dating world from all my friends. I'm like, yo,
Ah!
it was so easy for me the way like I manifested him, and it's actually eerily creepy. Like met him at my hypnotherapy life coach training in 2020,
Oh, I
and
love
he was
that.
everything I wrote down, everything I had in my journal. He even had, so I really was obsessed with Tom Ellis, who played Lucifer. If you guys know who he is, he's this really hot British
Look
guy.
him up. Well,
Oh,
British.
so fucking hot. Like I was
Tom.
manifesting. I have two different timelines. So I ended up with a European. I was thinking I was going to be with a British guy. Anyway, long story short, I lessened it. I said, just at least a red passport. I want my European citizenship. And then so I met my husband who looks exactly like Tom Ellis, who was my screensaver on my phone. Every quality, red passport, like European. And I was like, holy shit, that was easy. I'm really good at this. Wow. And we
That
actually
shows
met
you what
at
else can you do.
exactly. And then I also found out, so we met in 2020, and I realized once we had met that I actually met him at the Summit of Greatness in Ohio. It's like Lewis House's event. And we were right next to each other. He met my best friend, but because I was too worried about Kevin, some random guy who
The
wouldn't message
timing
me
wasn't
back,
right.
the timing wasn't right, but we were right next to each other
No,
in a
sis,
different
that
state.
same shit happened to me. Okay, so
Yeah.
first of all, I had the Eiffel Tower on my bedroom wall as a child. I like literally my soul, our souls are timeless. Our human minds are limited. Our souls always knew. Our souls know to all the books, everything, all the chapters in the book. We know already. I know that because there's so many things, little secret. But anyway, I also knew Paris. And I couldn't explain moving to Paris, but I lived in Paris the year before I met Bastion in the same neighborhood, going to the same park almost every day, which was right down the street from where he lived, which I would live with him later when I married him. But we couldn't have met in that time because neither
Yep.
of us were ready the year before. But it
Yep.
was like, what the fuck?
And that just shows you that, like, I do believe there's soul contracts. I mean, I've done
Oh,
so much
yeah.
hypnotherapy, past life regressions, like
Yeah.
the journeys that I know you believe in hypnotherapy, Lacey. You told me about the
Holy
human
shit.
design, but just like these soul journeys and working with the records. It's like when you're contracted to be with someone in this lifetime, like it's going to happen. There's free
Yeah.
will and there's also contracts. And I believe that with my husband.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, literally looking at everything we have done and are continuing to do, it is amazing to go into this soon to be Year of the Horse, knowing like whatever we want to call in. You know what I mean? As long as we get specific and stay in our alignment and open to how it interprets. If we focus on that feeling, it's so cool to get specific again on like, what am I calling in? I'm curious for y'all, what are you calling in specifically? Like, what's coming up for y'all that's like, oh, this is the focus right now. This is the.
A baby. A baby. My husband and I,
Yeah,
so yesterday was the full moon and I took the test. I faced my biggest fear. I'm actually really happy to share this with y'all. You're the first people, other than my husband. I pass out when I get my blood drawn. It's a whole thing.
me too.
Even
Me
you
too.
too?
Every single time I have to lay down.
Oh my gosh.
Every
So then I
single
did it at the fucking biohacking conference in Austin, and they're like, it's a finger prick. It's a
biohacking.
better way to do it. And I was like, okay, great. So I go and I do it, pass out on the biohacking conference floor. And I'm like, from a finger prick, what the fuck? So
Yeah.
anyway, I find out later on in the year, I do another finger prick test, pass out, find out I'm anemic.
Yeah.
This was like in September. So I heal it. Yesterday, I went to get tested because I heard that if you are anemic and you get pregnant, it's just not good for you or the baby, all
Yeah.
this stuff. And I went and I laid down and I didn't pass out. And I felt really proud of myself and just like I conquered one of my biggest fears.
Yeah.
And then I found out that my body's healthy and it was symbolic. So I'm very
Oh
Celtic. So
yeah.
like Bridget's Day and like
Yes.
in between, like
You
the
could literally be Bridget.
I know. I'm like, oh my God, this Celtic goddess that she's supporting. So anyway, all that to say, yesterday we had like this powerful sex portal of like
Oh
conception where
yeah.
I feel like I did a little bit of cannabis. It is a really powerful medicine for me. And I feel like when we were making love, there was just like this powerful exchange of energy. And I'm like, yeah, we definitely made a baby. Like, holy fuck. And I've been working through the biggest fears, girls, about being pregnant
Yep.
and wanting to be
Yeah.
a mother. I literally got like manifested this course with this woman.
Mm.
It's like $2,500 course for 3 months to teach me everything about conception, pregnancy, childbirth, like very holistic.
Mhm.
And she's super spiritual. And I'm just like feeling really good. I'm like, wow, I'm supported. I'm
I'm
supported.
so
This is
happy for
happening.
you.
Thank you. And I
Oh my
reorganized my entire
gosh.
life this past year around like wanting to be a mother,
Mhm.
wanting to do a little bit less work. I
Mhm.
was doing so much like hypnotherapy, quantum healing hypnosis, coaching, retreats, events, workshops. And now I'm like, nah, I wanna speak, I wanna do content, I wanna change everything up. And there's the
Mhm.
3-5, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I'm calling in is a life where I can nurture life, like grow life, and also take care of myself first before I take care of others.
Mm.
So that's 2026 for me.
That is so beautiful. I am
Thank you.
so amazed and awe, excited for you. Like, what a triumph. And especially, I see so
Mm,
much of our designs being very similarly wired in our experiences.
yeah,
And I'm so inspired by you, really,
thank
because
you.
I didn't know, I'm not there yet on wanting to conceive, but it was born as a dream in me when I met Bastion. And I think I had such an anxiety and fear about my body that I never thought that that was a possibility for so many reasons. But I've been healing and I know I'm being prepared eventually for that. So I love seeing you in that alignment and in that power of like, yes, it's time.
Yeah,
Because it
thank you. It's
is.
been a whole journey. Like I honestly think if I didn't meet my husband, I would have been the one that said, "Yeah, I'll have kids eventually." And then if I met a
Yeah.
guy who was like, "Meh," probably wouldn't happen. He
Yeah.
initiated me truly into this journey. He's been the one wanting it like that, and I've been like, "Yeah,
Wow. And it's prepared you.
yes,
But you've been
totally."
able to find your way of honoring your pacing of it all because your body knows. It's always known.
Oh,
It's your soul too. It's that chapter where your soul knows all the timing of like, girl, you've always had everything you needed, you know?
exactly. And even the
Oh,
astrology, because I've gotten so deep into it, the transits of this year,
yeah.
yeah, it literally says like child, like everything they say about like fertility. It's like, holy shit, you can't make this up. There's like this fate of this vertex, something window of fate. And yeah, I'm just like, okay, so there's fate and then there's
Wild.
also free will and some
Yeah,
stuff you
yeah,
just
yeah.
can't. Wow.
I love that that's
Yeah.
lining up for you right now and that you could transit it. When I looked at the transits of 2027, it looks like that would be a time when Bash and I would be. And I was like, I'm not there yet, but I'm also literally not there yet. So I'm like, we'll see when we get there. But as far as the transits look, 2027 looks like a fertile family year. And I was like,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
moving to LA. I'm focusing on career. I was like, but I surrender to the divine will. Like, I'm like, we'll see. Okay, Chris, what are you welcoming in? What's specific for you right now? And it could be multiple things, obviously.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
like, what a gift, Alexis, because
yeah.
like to have a man that is that like rock and that anchor who knows what he wants and is like helping to usher you and give you the space to like, I don't know. I feel like, you know, I over the last few years have been asking God, really over the last year, to like change my heart around motherhood
Mm.
because I've been so conditioned by my own mother to feel that motherhood is hard, to feel that it's a sacrifice, to feel that we lose ourselves, to feel just in resistance to saying goodbye to that maiden archetype,
Yes.
And it's really like the work that I've been doing over the last year or so has been so much inner child work to
Mhm.
because she was the one who was behind the wheel, like driving this vehicle and my reactions to people and the way that I felt about things and just my response to like life around me. And it's because I had really emotionally immature parents and I grew up really fast and parented I'm like reparenting myself. And
Hmm.
and I've just been asking God to like help change my heart around motherhood because like I want motherhood, but it's like all of those beliefs and limiting beliefs and edges of my own identity and of what's possible and just the way that um I've like been operating in my life, which is putting everyone else first. It's also hyper productivity
Mhm.
and, for the last 3-ish years, I'd been chasing like these huge financial milestones. And that's like, I really, for the last like 10 years of my life, I've been chasing financial security because that's not something that I had. Again, a lot of my like conditioning. And so in November, I literally like back in August, September, I hit this huge financial milestone of like 10K months, which I've been
Mm.
chasing for so long. And I was miserable. Like I was working like 60 hours a week. I had built my business to be like
Yeah.
outputting like a
And
generator.
active too. Yeah.
Yes. And it was over on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
so not the way that you guys see me now, but I was just like, had this performance hat on,
Yeah.
and I was being a version of myself. I was not my full self
Mhm.
over there. And so the people that I attracted were not my soul client.
LinkedIn's boring. I hate that platform.
Oh, yes.
She said,
Yes. Totally agree. But I was hiding. I really wanted to be on Instagram, but I was hiding over
Mhm.
on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And manufactured success, but it was
Yeah.
aligned success. It was not
Right.
effortless. It was me
Yeah.
muscling my way through it and forcing
Mhm.
myself
Like
into.
hyper masculine.
Oh my God, yes. And
Yeah.
it's a very masculine platform,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
business, corporate life. So in November, I literally, and when I said, oh, well, I'll get rid of those clients, because I was a copywriter. So I was like
Yeah.
doing so much writing for almost 4 years for people. And I was not pouring any of that creative energy into my own business and my own just what I
Creative
wanted to
expression.
do. Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
just doing so much for other people.
Mm.
And I said, oh, well, when I replace that income, then I'll get rid of these clients. And I spent almost like over a year dragging my feet on
Mhm.
just dissolving that version of my business because I was really functioning out of like, oh, well, I need this money. And it was really my money mindset. Like I really had to work on
In
so
that
much
mind.
scarcity. Yes, like so
Yeah.
much scarcity, so much lack. And I just got to the point in November where I was finally like, if I could do this, and build this out of alignment.
Yeah.
Imagine what I
What
could,
can I build in alignment?
yeah,
Well,
and
also returning your energy, your first fruit, your passion, your creative vitality to yourself rather than
Yes.
functioning behind people for them.
yeah,
It's like, man, what could I do if I let myself? But you mentioned last year was visibility, and that was what you had to confront. You
yes,
had to go, oh, this is what where I'm blocking myself. Because
yes,
if I allow myself to be visible, I'm unstoppable. And that's terrifying because then it makes you feel accessible. It makes you feel perceived by everyone. And so you find these ways where your system literally, that's why I love hypnotherapy, because you find where you're blocking success, where you're blocking evolution, where you're blocking
Mhm.
healing, because your mind is wired to think, no, but I'm safe if I play small. I'm safe if I have this or if I have that or if I. And it's like,
yes.
actually.
Yeah. I mean, I was playing it so safe. And I really like had to see myself clearly. Like I
Yeah.
really needed to step into my power and heal my
Mm.
child and put her to rest and like
Yeah.
step into this more mature
Mother.
woman.
Yeah.
Yes. Like this
Yeah.
mother, like
Mother, you're
I've
going from
been,
maiden to mother right
Yeah.
now in preparation for, yeah, eventually wanting to have life, but you have to shed the maiden. That's what
Yeah.
the program told me. It's like,
And
this is
there's
what
such
you're
a
going through.
grief. There's
yeah.
such
Yes,
a
the
grief
grief.
around shedding the maiden. I,
Yes.
We're
I also,
honoring her right now and also grieving her right now.
yeah. And it's this weird, like, it's so funny because we're always changing, but I have felt like oh, but as I'm shedding more of me, I'm going, it's almost like I miss her. I just know her, so she's safe. She's what I know. But it's also like, girl, cry around it as much as you need, but then let her the fuck go. Because she can't stay moving forward. You have to sacrifice and move on. But it's the grief has surprised me because I love change. I love surprising myself. I love what's next. But I'm almost so addicted to growth that it's been like confrontational for me to sit with, oh, if I actually want to welcome in what's next, that real grief. I've just been very surprised by the grief of letting go of all the versions of me who have kept me safe up until
We
now.
learned in the class, or well, the program, she's having us look at the parts of our maiden that we love. So, like maybe the
Mm.
adventurer part of you, right? Or the one that's a
Ooh.
rebel, and how those parts are going to carry over in motherhood or that next chapter of being that sovereign, like queen
Ah.
mother, who advocates for her rights when she's like, if she has a hospital birth and she plans like an at-home birth, right? So then it's like that rebel comes in who advocates for herself, or the adventurous part of you
Wow.
that's like, actually, I want to look at different ways to do this. I want to birth in home, right? So it's like, what are those parts of your maiden that you do want to keep and take with you to the next chapter? And what are the parts you're like, yeah, that was a little risky, doing cocaine on the boat. Like, we're not going to do that kind of stuff as the mother. Some mothers do, right? But
Yeah.
like that 20-year-old shit, like that's got to go, and that
Yeah.
those old patterns. And so, yeah, it's been really interesting. And I just want to say that to you all real quick is when you do find yourself being more interested in, yes, I am ready for pregnancy or conception. I just want to share that the journey I went through was so intense. I didn't realize that like that's another awakening journey. It's one of the biggest initiations a woman will go through. When you choose to become a mother, or even saying, yes, I'm ready to focus on conscious conception, I thought I was going insane. Like I was literally telling I guess she's like my mentor now. I was like, I will go into our local grocery store or I'll be driving and I feel like I'm in like a different realm. She's like, you're in the birth portal. You are
Yeah.
birthing yourself anew into a mother that can hold life and sustain life. And
Yeah.
yeah, like you may find yourself sometimes in a different realm. And that's what happens during birth. You go and like grab the soul of your child and bring it through Earthside. I'm like,
Mhm.
holy shit.
Mhm.
This program, y'all, like
I need you to send it to me.
Yeah,
I will.
same.
She
Same.
just started it's her beta round, but she's using gene keys in it too.
Oh.
And she studied at the School of Metaphysics. She's my mentor's best friend. So I will just
I
send it
love
right
that you
here.
mentioned the portal and the threshold because for me, I that spiritual awakening language has helped me make sense of my dissociative nature my whole life
Mhm.
and understanding I was hyper aware. I wasn't actually, I used to think I escaped. I constantly escaped, and that was the language mental health realm taught me. But what I now see, especially as a reflector, I was like, no, I was everywhere.
Yeah.
was everywhere all at once. And that was what would freak me out because I wasn't anchored and tethered and trusting the body to contain me.
Yeah.
Um, but
I don't know
yeah,
why it's not working.
I'm
Sorry,
finding much more. Oh, thank you. I'm finding
it's not
much.
working now.
Oh, it's
So
not.
hold on,
Well,
I'm listening, but I'm
well,
gonna
it
find
worked
it.
for me. It worked for me.
Really? Does it
Yeah,
say intuitive birth codes?
yeah.
That works for me too.
Okay, and it's like a 12-week mind and body spirit preparation. You can see that?
Yeah.
Amazing. Yes.
Okay, all right, then it worked. It didn't work for me, but all right.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I've just when the mind, this is where I see even my understanding thinking mind that craves understanding to feel safe has kept me away from just keeping the body grounded. And when I have been through so many different, because we just experience stuff we can't explain all the time. And when you jump to wanting to be able to explain and understand it, you do actually enter into a pathological realm. And it doesn't mean, for me, it's just like we're able to be in so many places. It's hyper awareness. And I'm
And you're a
going,
Pisces, right?
yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm a fucking
You're in that
Pisces,
streak.
Mercury Pisces, Lilith Pisces. I mean, I just am like, I am not of this world. And my whole life has been teaching me to ground in the body and not escape the body. Because my system wanted to be, and I dealt with a lot of suicidal ideation because my soul was like, I'm over this. Get out of the body. This body experience, hate it. But now, I mean,
Don't
truly,
recommend.
yeah, don't recommend. And now that I'm learning that God is in my body and that I am like the breath of life, Yahweh, like just
Yeah.
knowing that I am anchored, that is changing everything. These are things I've been told before, but now I have that gnosis. My body
Mm,
understands that now when I'm rattling, spiraling out, I just go, stop the stimulation, no more input, go back to breath. And it is like
yeah.
breath will always be the most important thing. And I've heard this because I've been a yogi. I've heard these things my whole life. But now I finally am having the marriage of like mind, body, and spirit again to not have this overpowering mind that is just limiting the fuck out of me and pathologizing everything. And I mean, it's just, oh, it's so liberating. And I now see that is my sovereignty that I can then offer to the rooms I step into of like, oh, I have to be not full circle, not perfect, but I have to be present, just present with myself. And if I'm
Yes.
that, then I am a change for everyone else. I am a calibrator for everyone else to go, oh, it can be different. Oh, we don't have to be like this. Oh, we don't have to
Mm,
overfunction. We don't have to, oh, it's like we just exist in our alignment and we change the world. I mean, that really, it's the whole be the change you want to see by changing yourself. I think for reflectors, it's absolutely true. I mean, it's less effort. I think really the spirit has been telling me less effort, less effort, less effort. Just
right.
breathe into who you are.
I really love how you're saying that, Lacey, because something I'm noticing around me, and dare I say it, and I don't sense that you two are, but I'm seeing a lot of my old spiritual friends
Mm,
go back to like the Bible and church, and it feels really confusing right now because I feel as if there's bits and pieces I really do appreciate of
same.
churches, some churches,
Hmm.
and there is some truth in the Bible, yes. And I just have seen through a lot of the bullshit, the
Hmm.
power, like this ability to manipulate people through that. When gnosis, actually knowing like communion with God, with oneself, is like what Yeshua, what Jesus was teaching us, right? Like the kingdom of heaven is within. You don't need a priest. They killed him because they said you don't need this stuff. And then they created a religion after him.
And they
And
took
I'm seeing all
Mary's
these
book
people go
out.
back to it. And I'm like, what the fuck, y'all? Like, I
Yeah.
just see right through and I'm like, I guess people are just really lost in this world right now and they're looking for
Yeah,
something to hold them.
they are.
But then they
Yeah.
start demonizing you, the
Hmm.
person who's like, I will not go back to church or the Bible because I don't need that. And it's so interesting. I don't know if y'all are seeing this or, and if it touched anything in y'all, if you are religious, sorry, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, what's
Oh,
happening?
Yeah. Oh, I'm in a weird space because I came from religion as well. I came from
Same.
Christianity, Church of
Yep.
Christ, very legalistic. And then I went through a marriage and a divorce at a young age, and I divorced the church. I mean, I just like went off. And we are such spiritual beings, we can't separate ourselves, from. So I was finding ways, honestly, Al-Anon, like an addiction
Yeah.
that kind of a program with the 12 step giving me language to creatively express God gave me so much permission to go, today, God is this. Today, God is that. And I just couldn't say God. I would say universe,
Mhm.
source, creator, Biggie Goodlove, the creator, like found so many different terms. But when I went back to LA in December, part of this transition I'm in is being a bridge again. I have a friend who called me the black sheep shepherdess because she was like, Lacey, you're for the people that feel rejected by the church. And I'm like, that's fucking right. Because I know I get it. And I also have been able to return to language that I was triggered by for so long. I can, Jesus, Christ conscious, I can use any language. I want to send
Mhm.
y'all, do y'all know Awakened with Sophie? I think is her
Yeah.
Instagram name. I love that she often posts like, if you're religious, you call it this. If you're spiritual, you call it that. If
Yeah,
you're
I've seen
into
that.
energy and science, you call it this. But it's all the
Metaphysical
same.
or science.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's all the same thing. And
Yes,
we are
exactly.
naturally able to navigate the blurred lines. But so many people are fixed into, I have to say Jesus, I have to say God, I have to say Holy
Yeah.
Spirit. Whereas I can say energy, God, Holy Spirit. I can
Mm-hmm.
say any of it. And so
Because
now
it's the all that is. It's nameless. It has
yeah,
no name. It
exactly.
isn't no
Try to
sex.
put limitations with language, and I get so
It showed me
frustrated
that.
because I often just want to do like animations and make sounds because I'm like language can't touch it. But I'll be like, but if I just share my energy with you, you'll get it.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I can't. And so that's why I love the embodiment of trusting what my body wants to do because my body knows everything. My body is sourced. I am sourced. And I am back to that to where now it's healed a lot of my relationship with my family because I can communicate with them in their terms, but I also am
Mhm.
not limiting my divine
Yes.
experience and embodiment of God. And so it's an identity shaker in the best way because I do feel tethered. And at the same time, I feel everything. So I'm like,
I guess it's just the projections, right? So it's like
yeah,
somebody who you really used to talk about that stuff with, and all of a sudden now doesn't want to talk to you because you're not going to church and reading the Bible. And you're like,
it's
okay,
totally a projection. Yeah. Well, because
okay.
their identity and their comfort and their realm of understanding is
Yeah.
fixed at the moment.
Now it is, but it wasn't. And it's like, oh, we used to buy, okay, well, another friend. All right. Well,
No, it is
sorry.
tough with the friends. It is very tough with the friends. It is, I've had so many shocking friendship endings. But it also was my soul going, this is good for both of you. And this is loving. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be, you don't have to create a mountain out of a molehill. You don't even have to create a molehill. Like it's literally neutral. And so our stories and or their projections dramatize us, or we play the villain, whatever. And I'm like, no, no, no. I'm finding a lot of forgiveness and love and acceptance for others, even when they literally are like, you abandoned me, you're a villain. And I'm like, I love you where you're at, but you ain't on my ride right now. Like it's a misalignment.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
okay. That misalignment feels very permissive to me in this moment, whereas it was brutal at first.
Yeah.
But
It's like it's with this church, it's like in the Bible and everything, it's like I don't know, I just feel like we can see it for so clearly for what it is. Like
yeah.
I follow this one girl and she talks about if you do yoga, then you're open to demonic. And she
Or
talks about
tarot, like,
yeah,
Yeah, how dare you, you
yeah,
devilish child, you. Okay.
yeah. And how she had an experience, where she was in the yogi world and she was a
mm,
teacher and she was a student and it was like her whole brand. And then she was met with like a demonic spirit, and it was the Kundalini spirit, I guess.
oh, I've heard this. Yeah.
And so it's interesting, I remain open to these perspectives because I'm just like,
Yeah.
huh, like is it the truth? Is it not the truth? Is it your like perception of the truth? But
Yeah.
I do feel I'm like it's a book that a bunch of men wrote.
Yeah.
Exactly. Literally wrote out Mary Magdalene, literally wrote out, left out things. And I'm like, okay.
Oh,
But then, yeah, it's, you know
y'all
what I've
read that then?
understood?
The Mary Magdalene Revealed?
Yeah, I've read some of that. And
Dang.
well, Mary Magdalene came to me when I was living in England. I went to Glastonbury and I had no
I
plan. I
love
had no idea.
Glastonbury.
Oh my God.
I
Like I
know.
felt called to go and I didn't even realize it
Yes,
was her feast day. And she
it
came to me at
is.
Cal as well. And I was like, what the fuck? Like that was during my right before my 33rd year, like my awakening. And I deepened my
Wow.
my relationship with Christ consciousness and Mary
Yeah.
Magdalene.
and gnosis, right? And so
Yeah.
I've gone on this journey. It's been so beautiful. And what I was gonna say is this was because of a beautiful mushroom journey. What I understood is source consciousness, right? The thing that created all of this, the creator, God, whoever you call it, is trying to understand itself. And so every single person has a different experience so that source can understand itself. So it's like technically the Christians, they even have different nuance, every single person at that church. They don't realize it, but they may have like chunked up these similar beliefs. But we're all just having different experiences as the creator trying to understand itself, right? Like, how do you know if it's dark if you don't know light, vice versa, like the contrast. And so, how do you this is where it gets really fucked up, is understanding that if you chunk it all the way up, that it's just like the darkness and evil is the absence of love and light, sort of. I say that with like the light part, but and technically, in a way, all the evil and all the things are still of source, understanding itself. And I was like, yo, that's where it gets really complicated for the human to understand. And it feels like, yeah, Epstein files and all that stuff. Like, how could that still be of God or of source? How could like all that? And it's like, well, it is, but it also isn't. That's the other mushroom journey. It's like, it
Yeah.
is, but it isn't. But it is, but it isn't. It
But
all
that
matters, but it
even,
doesn't. Like,
yes, that's the
what?
surrender to the mystery itself, though. That's why I'm so obsessed with the idea of like feeling versus understanding, because this is so wired to understand, whereas the feeling is limitless. The mind is limited, but the soul, the heart is limitless. And so I have to daily surrender to the divine, to the unknown, to the mystery, the complication, and just go, that ain't on me. Like I just, because yeah, it's just focus on what serves you that day, focus on what feels good. And as reflectors, because we're constantly transiting and sampling, it's just what is going to feel 1% more grounded today, or what I need today. And that's why for me, I'm like, God changes every day.
Yeah,
And I'm able
always
to go,
expanding.
yeah. And I find such a freedom in that, but also because of conditioning with, I mean, I see the shadow side of religion, needing certainty, needing to have answers, and needing to perform clarity when maybe the answer is a surrender to I don't know. And I think that's so Christ-like, is
Yeah.
is just this beautiful surrender. And so, yeah, there's lots of pressure, but also us being aware of what we're working with, what we're sampling, and how some days it's more influenced than others by the collective of like, God, there's all this mental pressure right now. That's not mine. But we can move through it and stay in our sovereign and to what makes us feel rooted, connected, tethered, whatever that is, because again, it changes.
You know what a generator told me? My friend, a generator friend told me a couple of weeks ago. And at first I tried it on and I was like, oh, maybe she's right. And then I was like, no, that's fucked. She said to me, oh, how did she say this? She goes, if you're feeling it, it's because it's yours. Like all energy is ours. And I was like, oh, there's some truth to that. But she was literally like saying,
Oh,
if
I
I
see.
feel
Yeah.
anxiety, it's because I have anxiety in me. And I
Yeah.
literally sat with it and I went, wait, everything I've been taught and about with being a reflector is actually it's sometimes it's not mine and I need to be able to discern. And I just kind of wonder what you all think about that, like listening to a generator who's got all these defined centers to say that. Like, do you
I
think there's
think it,
truth in that?
I think it's correct for her.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
right.
it's
Yeah.
correct for
That's
her
what I
in
thought.
that
Yeah.
everything that she is feeling is hers.
Yeah.
That's a very different bodily somatic experience. Everything that my husband feels, like my
Ugh.
husband has this thing where, and I think this is a generator thing, unless he is experiencing it, he has a really hard time believing
Yep.
and
Yep.
understanding.
Hmm.
So like if his
Yeah.
mom says something and I can know what she's feeling. She can say something and she's, oh, well, you ought to do that. And I can feel this judgment and I can feel
Projection.
this projection, right?
Yeah.
He is so unprovocable. Like,
Mhm.
like people cannot make him feel anything that he is not
Right.
making himself feel.
That's
He
my
makes
husband too.
himself feel these things. But I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm feeling all of these projections and these reflections from his mom and it's not in his reality. And he
Yeah.
he thinks I'm wrong or making it up, or
Right.
because if he's not experiencing it, for
Hmm.
him it's not real, right? And we're working on this.
No, same.
Working on
Yeah, we're working on this. I like that.
so
But
but
also the way
but
y'all learn from each other, in
yes.
that.
Yes, yeah.
Ugh.
And there's lessons there for both of us, right? And I admire his I admire how unprovoked he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And how he's so stable in his identity and his sense of self.
Yeah. That's
Um,
my husband. It's annoying to me sometimes, but I
it's
love it. I'm in awe. But I'm like, ah.
because it's interesting because it's like he's not going to feel that judgment. He's not going to feel these projections. He's just gonna it's like a gift for him
It
because
is.
he doesn't hear the tone
Yeah.
behind what people say. He just
Yep.
kind of hears the message and he
Yep.
takes the message, and his internal state is what he has created for himself.
Yeah.
So I think for which is a gift for him, and I envy it. Um,
Oh.
but like, so I think for your friend, it's
Mm,
correct for her, and that
I love
she's
Yeah.
that.
not feeling, if she's feeling anxiety, it's not because she's reflecting it from someone else. It's because that's her body. She has that hardwiring. And then that's where we're like different, is that
Hmm.
Which human design is not so widely accepted and studied at this point. It's so niche still. And so that's what's tough is, first of all, women's studies and women's health and women's mental health is just still revolutionary of the last like 30 to 40 years. So like to add in the elements of human design and that level of understanding, that level of embodiment, like and that level of differentiation in individuated human experience, even that juxtaposition of we're all one soul, we're all connected, and la 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 la, but then we're all having these
Yes,
very different
and
reality. Yeah, it's all yes and.
yeah,
It's
yes,
all
and
yes and. It's one big improv.
yes.
And and
it
and
is,
and
but
it's
it isn't. It,
yeah,
it
yeah.
is, but it
It
isn't.
is, but it isn't.
Divine paradox of it all.
Yes, it exactly. And the surrendering to that is our sovereignty of going, I can say yes, validate everyone else all day long, and still go, I experience it differently.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I am the 1% that is outside of your definable certainty. It's like, what do they do with us? Well, we do with us,
That's why we're like
only we can.
we're like the peacemakers and the seers and the
Yeah.
leaders is because like what we said, like we have
Whew.
the ability to hold all of these perspectives and to
Mhm.
see all of these perspectives, and for those to still not necessarily be our truth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You're right. Okay, that's the thing. It's like that's what my husband and I were diving into. It's like there's absolute truths, there are universal truths, right? Like
Mhm.
universal laws,
Mhm.
also law of gravity. Like that is truth with a capital T. And then there's small t's truth, right? And that's our individual truth. And then there's beliefs that become our reality and different
Mm.
experiences. And yeah, it's like kind of tying it back to religion. Religion also says, like, no, this is the only truth, capital T. But then, now you're discrediting all the other people who had religions before Christianity, right? Like they're like Krishna was saying the same stuff, right? Like all this stuff. And yeah, it's just like, don't try to put your capital T truth on me. I don't need that. I don't
That's
need that.
all the division we have in this world is because of
Yes, I
that.
see it. So
All the
big.
division, all the issues, all the separation, all of it is the egoic, I need to be right. And for
And
me to
you're
be
wrong.
right, you need to be wrong.
Yep.
And we, as reflectors, literally can change the world by being able to hold capacity for conflicting truths all in one body, which helps when we're able to do that. We literally show the rest of the world you can do it, which is why I think we used to be more reflectors. And if you look at the development of human design, or not even that, when they showed on the origin of humanity, we were more reflectors. But then we
Yeah,
broke
wiener.
into individuated societies and ways of being and more independence. And that's when we started, I don't want to say fragment, but that's when we started creating more individualistic stuff. Whereas reflectors are meant to be like villagers. We're meant to be all connected, all considering everything. And I really think like not only women save the world, but like reflector women, I think we have such a divine purpose to take care of ourselves and to be just aligned. There's no pressure. I don't believe anymore in a God that is needy. I don't think
Yeah.
God needs anything from us. God is so omnipotent and
Yeah.
beyond that it's just our I think our literal purpose is to just be in alignment, to be
Yes.
in tune with the instrument we've been given and play it to its best possibility. Enjoy
Yes.
it. You know what I mean? Enjoy whatever the fuck you want. Like you were saying, Chris, the Leo full moon is such a beautiful example. Is be that child you were created to be and just delight in the experience of this gift of life. And through that, we will calibrate the rest of the world around us. And the rest of the world will go,
Mm.
oh, there is another way. Oh, I
Yeah.
don't have to be numb and asleep and hive mind and, numb forever. I can actually be who I was dreamed here to be. Like that's for me, that's where I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But that requires us to be able to be contained and safe in our nervous system, to be
Yes.
visible, to be seen, to be accessible, not necessarily actively accessible,
Yes.
but perceived. So, like, have our inner circle and not have people having direct access to us, but through sharing our voice on social media in a mass kind of way, they can access our energy, access our wisdom, whereas we're still at home in our little sanctuary protected.
Yes. That was like my biggest insight this past year was I want to broadcast my voice and protect my energy. Like I was doing
Yes.
free events at
And
the
both are
park. Like
true or can be.
anyone have my energy, here you go. And then I'd be so depleted. I'm like,
Yep.
wait, I gotta
Yep.
switch this around. No, thank
hmm
you.
And we're all
Nope.
learning that. I love to see the way we're on our own individuated paths, even as all reflector women, still learning the same things. Because even Chris, when you were saying that hyper masculine version of success and provision, I was doing that this year and I needed that was part of my initiation. I had to, while my husband was waiting for his green card, I had to step up and create a new belief system where I could be provider. And I created that, and I saw where I was overly active in effort and I was exhausted and burnout, but I also was praised for being so good at headshots. That's what I do. I'm an actor, but I still make so much money doing headshots for other actors because as a reflector, I just make everyone feel their best. And then I
Mm.
capture their best side of them, and everyone's like, "This is your purpose." And my soul goes, "This isn't my purpose." Uh, I'm like, "This isn't my purpose." This is my initiation into learning a new part of me, expanding myself. But also, I learned from it. I've been way too active, and my energy has been way too actively accessible. I have allowed people to extract me, extract me,
Ugh.
extract. And I'm going, no, now is the time and I really see this for all of us in our own way. We all are meant to shine. We are meant to be visible and shining, whatever community or platform that is, but we have to be contained for that, which means our our awareness and our energy is not a public service. Like we don't owe shit.
Yes.
It is through overflow of our alignment that we then are a complete service to the world. But
Yes.
it's just been this flip-flop of all the conditioning,
Yes.
and of going, I'm not meant to work this hard because we're not.
Here's,
Exactly. I've stopped been working so hard and it's all just been working.
Yeah. And as Chris said, it works, but then you go, where am I?
yes.
Where's
Yep.
what I want? Where is my peace? Where is my sense of ease that is we a birthright, you
Yes.
know?
There, there's a huge difference between like you said of being of service to the world from the point of overexertion and time and
Martyr.
Self-abandonment.
Yeah,
versus
that's what I
like
was doing.
Yeah.
yes, versus like being in so much overflow because
hmm
all you're doing is pouring into yourself and
hmm
giving from that place.
Yep.
It's so those are two very different frequencies.
Oh, and people, this is part of that great divide that we're seeing in the collective and in our own relationships that can't sustain anymore. This transition we're stepping into, the people that will not meet us where we are because now we are meeting ourselves. And
Yes.
once we meet ourselves and we go, oh, I never needed you to need me.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
And I mean, it's just like now that I meet me, people either meet you or they're not
Mhm.
for you. And
Yes.
that's
Yep.
that. And it's so cool because again, there's a universal neutrality. It doesn't have to be like there's a part of my shadow, which I love, that does go, fuck you. And I love her. I
Same.
love her. But that's for me, right? That's my shadow self that when I get someone who wants to villainize me and I have to initially process it, I
Yes.
literally have to get up and dance and be like, fuck you. And I
Yes.
have to like make it light and funny and shadowy and like cunty. And I love my shadow. That's my shadow on a leash. That's my shadow serving me, not controlling the narrative and reacting, which is
Mhm.
what that's why I was diagnosed bipolar. I lived a reactive life. And now I'm able to have separate or, space. That spaciousness is what we have to have as reflectors. And that comes from I meet myself, I honor myself, I choose myself. Therefore, I don't need you to choose me.
Mhm.
And that liberation is just like, and it creates a natural, like you were saying, Lexi, it's that natural circle of like your small protected circle. And you know who
Mhm.
fucks with you. You know who's for you,
Yep.
who's reciprocal. And whoever
Oh
is
yeah,
not is just not for you. It's not personal. It's
Mhm.
like, oh,
absolutely.
okay, that's where you're at.
It doesn't mean a damn thing.
It
Yep.
doesn't mean a damn
And
thing,
I
and it
think
is a
that like
waste of our energy to give drama to it. But
Yeah.
our egos do it, and we have to just go, okay, girl, I still see you. What do you actually need? You just need
And
attention.
it's great information, right? When
Yeah.
we are offended. Like
Yeah.
yesterday I had like three people unsubscribe to my emails and
Yeah.
it
You're like,
like for a
okay.
second I found myself like, who did that? Who my shadow came out of like those stupid
I
bitches.
love
Yeah.
her. I love your shadow.
Yeah,
Let her
and I'm
be.
like, and a part of that is like, I love what you said about just having her on a leash and like
Yep.
being aware and
Yep.
not like rejecting, but
Yes.
allowing that to be like, okay, I still have a wound. Because
Hmm.
if I did not have a wound, it would not be reacting to these people. It would not
Absolutely.
be taking it personally. It would not. So I still have some work to do. I don't have to like, and that doesn't have to cause me suffering. Like I don't
Exactly.
have to, I
You don't
can,
have to resist her or
yes,
be afraid of her
I
because she's not running the show anymore.
yes, I can be
That's
like,
the
come
fun
on,
part.
girl, come
Yeah.
on, right here, come under my
Yes.
arm. It's all right.
Yes.
They
And
don't
when you have your
like
safe
you.
people and this safe environment right here, people who get it, you are free to be seen in your shadow. You're
Yes,
free. I have my best friends and I can be like, I just need to,
yes,
and then we laugh because I'm like, and that was my ego.
yes,
yeah.
And I'm like, and they know my soul. No, it's so okay. And it's just like that safe container of I meet myself and I have my people who meet me. And guess what? If you can't meet me, it's okay, but it's a misalignment.
yeah.
And
Yep.
that's such a good answer that it's a misalignment. And I have found there's this one phrase that's really helped me, especially as a fifth line. Um, this phrase is the greatest defense I've ever heard in my life. So write it down if it serves you. It's in any scenario to be able to have this in your back pocket to go, okay, I hear you. Please help me understand which part you think is my responsibility.
Mm.
That has saved my life. I don't even have to use it because I hear it
Mm.
in my head and it helps me to choose whether I engage or not. It's a
Can you say
discernment.
that again? I
Yeah.
hear you.
I'll type it. I'll type it in. It's an
I
I
hear you.
hear you because
Please
everyone wants to be heard.
understand.
And it's please help me understand which part you believe is my responsibility. That alone, that phrase, just playing it in my head, has saved me from so many egoic dramas that my mind was trying to create because people will project and blame onto you nonstop with us being us.
Yes.
But that right there, people just want to be heard and acknowledged, and their blame is emotional. It is not specific. So it's their projection of their own shit they won't take ownership of. So when we say this, please help me understand. So you're staying connected.
Yes.
Please help me understand which part you believe is my responsibility. They have nothing to say.
I
Nothing.
I cannot wait to say that shit to my mother because
Yes. Yes.
she
And
being
watch the
up
jaw
and
go.
oh my God. And you know what? Because what I say is like I'll be like my like Lexi, you said you have this triangulation with your parents. I have the same thing.
Me too. I grew up the same way. It's
Oh
better
my
now,
gosh,
but
of
I grew up with it.
course.
I'm
Of
like,
course.
I'll be like, his emotions are not my responsibility. That's what I
Mhm.
say. And then she gets all
Mhm.
defensive. So I'm
Mhm.
excited to be like, help me understand what part of
Yes.
it is
Because it immediately turns the conversation from emotional, which is irrational. It
yes.
is. Emotions are just that's why we have to validate everyone's emotions. That's why we all have different realities because it's yes and yes, your emotions are valid, but the truth you're attaching to it may be a distortion.
Yes.
So to
Mm.
be able to say, I hear you, which is all anyone ever wants. anyone just people want to be seen and heard. So to
Yes.
say, I hear you, please help me understand which part you believe is my responsibility, it puts it back into logic.
Yes.
And then they can't, it's baseless.
Yes.
They all the projections and blame they're trying to put on you because they couldn't take it on themselves, which is all egoic distortions, which is personality disorders, bipolar, it's all of it. It's literally all that it is. And so that's why I'm so excited now because my journey has been to overcome bipolar disorder, to no longer identify with these mental health fragmentations, to no longer be medicated, to return to my body's true design and honor it, and to know my sensitivity is not a threat to my existence. My sensitivity is my portal through purpose to this world. So now I know a huge part of my purpose, because it's always linked to our pain, right? A
Yes.
huge part of all of our purposes and all the very similar threads we have is to liberate others because of our own liberation in
Mhm.
all these nuanced ways. And this is how we do it, by being a bridge of being able to have a communication where people in this world are all fighting because they can't communicate. They're all just emotionally blabbing and no one's, you know? So I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh, we got this."
Yes.
Lacey, something I wanted to share. Tell me if you can hear me because I'm outside now.
Yeah, we
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I studied psychology. That's what I got my degree in. And I was
Hell
going to be
yeah.
a therapist. And
Hell
so
yeah.
now I'm a hypnotherapist and I don't work in the system. But
Okay.
you were mentioning bipolar, and
Yeah.
something that I got labeled was cyclothymia.
Hmm.
Cyclothymia is like
It's like
a
a lower
lower,
layer.
but
Yep, I know.
yeah. Guess how many people have cyclothymia in the world?
Like the whole world.
Yeah, yeah. No, 1%.
What?
1%?
What?
That sounds
Oh,
familiar.
the
What is the
1%?
cyclothymia? Oh, you cycle through emotions. Many
As
different
in I'm a
emotions.
reflector and you don't have the language
Exactly.
for it?
Exactly. And I was like, huh. And then if you think what bipolar is, because my mother got that diagnosis too, is it's a different, like you're going between personalities
Yeah,
or emotions. And it's like,
constantly.
actually, that's also just being a reflector too,
Yes.
with
And you know, it's
like
wild.
yeah.
I reflected my father's bipolarity and I embodied that
My
awareness and that
mother is
way of
bipolar.
being. And
Yes.
my father is also a projector, which I think they really are the most sensitive, because they say we have a little more of a protective aura than projectors, where projectors
Mm,
actually have the most mental fragmentation, and I have witnessed that. They embody rejection in a far deeper way than we do. Now we can feel that from them, especially if you're raised around them. But my dad having that and me identifying, it's funny because I was bipolar 2, which they say is out of the
hmm.
bipolars. It's the more manageable of the bipolars. And
Yep.
then they have that cyclothymia underneath. But you're so right. It's just so fascinating to me to go, this was a mental chain on my life, and the biggest limitation for me and for my dad and my family being like a reject of society, going, oh, I will forever be um, unstable.
Mhm.
And it was this identity of I can't do what other people can do. I'm not dependable, is what it taught me. And
Mm.
so my liberation out of it, with the help of literal hypnotherapy, helped me to go, I can consider another association of life and being. And I'm now like, well, that's why I'm so addicted to saying and believing we're limitless, because I'm like, what do you want to focus on and heal next? What do you want to overcome next? For me, all the sexual trauma I went through, I used to think that it was like my identification. I identified with my pain. And I thought, I will
Mm.
never be outside of this. And now it's a distant memory. You know, I mean, I have moments where things might come up that's still in me that I have to confront and sit with. But for the most part, like the me I am being and existing in today, I never thought was a reality. And so I'm like, great, who can I be next? And now that's how I know God is in us. We're meant to be sovereign, because that's how we liberate others. We had to liberate ourselves first. And that's why we're drawn to psychotherapy and psychology. I'm an actor, but really I'm an architect. I'm an architect of the psyche. That's what an
You
actor
are.
is, you know? So I'm like,
Yes.
it's all like we can't escape our design and our purpose. And
Yes.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I'm so grateful, Christine. Like do you ever go by Christine or just
Yeah.
Chris?
No, I
Okay.
go by
Well,
Chris, Christine. Yeah.
it just came out of my mouth. I was like, Christine, I love that you have been divinely ordered, whether I'm sure you're aware of it, but I know you're aware of it, but to organize and to be the leader of a movement of reflector women,
Oh,
to
I
be
have chills you saying that right now. Yes.
but truly, and that, like, look at you. look at what you've been able to create, like the safe space.
Mhm.
Like for me, you are changing so many lives because of your alignment. Because look at, you're changing our lives, and then we're all going to
Yes.
change thousands of lives. So it's just like, that's how you do it. We're doing it. We have nothing to stress about. We're doing it already. We're being it.
Thank you so much. And literally it just and like my life has changed, you know? Like it
Hmm.
literally was just like I need this place. Like I need this
You created what you
space.
needed.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
Oh.
literally what it was. Is like I created what I needed. And it just so
Ugh.
happens that it's what we all needed.
Yes.
And
Ugh.
like I was a very different version of myself when we first connected in May. I think you were at the very first
I think I was.
full moon meeting.
Yeah.
And I've just been able to see myself clearly by like seeing all of the magic. I mean, I look at the artists, the creatives, these like leaders, the talent, the beauty, like the
Hmm.
thoughtfulness, the wisdom, and I'm like, I have that too.
Yeah.
You know, like reflectors are like the most magical women.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, like I've never seen myself so clearly
Yeah.
as being
Hmm.
all of these amazing women.
Mm.
So it's like
The
y'all
greatest
are
gift
my
ever.
strength. Like
Yeah.
it's like my strength comes from if I doubt myself, if at the moment my own reflection starts to get blurry,
Yep.
all I
Yep.
have to do is look at all of y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Like I'm
Which
so
is,
serious. Like
I mean, truly, I have had so many, like I said, just medicinal moments because of these meetings, and it's, I love that life is really like the lived experience and what stands out to you at the end of the day. So you'll only have your memories at the end of your life, and so it's fun to reflect on a year and go, what stood out to me, and these few meetings I've stepped into, it's probably been more than a few, but the not many meetings of gathering in this space on Zoom
yeah,
has been
Hmm.
has been exponential to my healing, my growth, my witnessing myself and y'all. I mean, like you said, it's just like it's life changing. So again, that came from your alignment, not your over exerting yourself for someone else's, that came from your alignment, what you needed. What you need is what the world needs. That's the reality. And that's the like the healing, isn't it? It's the permission to go, I really can choose myself.
yes. And like I'm like it's that simple. Like entrepreneur
Yeah.
gets to literally be that simple of like,
Yes.
what do I need
Yep.
right
Yep.
now? We
Hmm.
like it's not what's going to entertain our audience. It's not what's going to serve our audience. It's literally how do I serve myself? And
Yeah.
it's going to look different depending on for me as a 4/6, that's community. That's
Yeah.
connection.
Hmm.
That's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we each get to like it gets to be that simple.
Ugh. And I love that because that works in every single environment you can fathom. Because even looking through the lens of profiles is so helpful, but even just taking all that away and just saying, what
Yeah,
I need is what everyone else needs.
yeah,
Truly, if you boil that down, think of yourself in a room. You're at a party, okay? And if you were like, what do I need in this moment? It's getting a little loud, it's getting a little overstimulated, it's getting a little, I just need to give myself permission to listen to my body, to take a break, to walk away from this conversation, to, I mean, whatever it is, your permission to not play the what do they need from me? What do they want from me? You're playing the
Hmm.
opposite. You're playing your authenticity. You're playing I'm listening to my body and I'm just playing the game of life.
mm,
That alone, you getting what you need is teaching everyone around you to do the same when they have been taught and conditioned in a way that's like, I didn't know I could do that. I
mhm,
didn't know I could walk away. I didn't know I could choose myself. I didn't know that I could say no. You know
mhm,
what I mean?
mhm.
Like when we do that, it's just what we need. It's very simple. And
Yes.
and it
Like
can
right now, I'm not using social media and I'm like telling people, I'm like, hey, it's winter. Like, and there's a lot going on. You don't need to watch social media to inform you how to feel. Or
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's like that's how we get our news. And if you're not staying up to date, you don't care about the world and you don't care about these
Oh,
people that are getting
I
murdered. And
enough
it's
of
like,
that bullshit.
nah,
Uh-uh.
nah. I've
Who
been,
are we
I've had so
helping
much
by being in a
peace.
panic mode
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
by
exactly.
overwhelmed, overstimulated? Who are you
It's like,
helping?
it's time to rest. It's winter,
Yeah.
guys. Like, come on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But we teach people how to calibrate. We teach people how to take care of your nervous system and how to center yourself so that you can live in divine service of overflow. We really do that.
Mhm.
I think everyone else can do that as well, but I think people are going to be more receptive to us
Yes.
because we get it and feel it all.
Yes.
Whereas other people click with certain people, but everyone our whole lives are probably, we've been told, like, oh, it's just easy to talk to you. Oh, I
Yeah.
just click with you. Oh, you just get me. I'm like, yeah, because I'm reflecting you.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I am you in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
And you are me, and we are one. And
Beatles come together. I am he as you are me, and we are all
Kumbaya.
together. Was that I am the walrus? Oh,
well, I
I
love
love y'all. This has
y'all.
been so great. I do have to listen to my
Ah,
body and go pee now and move my
Yes.
body.
yeah.
I
But only with
love y'all.
reflector women can I sit this long.
I know, I know. And also just be like, all right, it's time to go. And we're all on the same page for like,
We're all feeling it. Yep. It's like, it's time to go. I also, just last thing I'll say is I'm not going to no events right now. I am not even hanging out with friends. And so to come into this room says a
Mhm.
lot, Christine. Like, it just feels different, you know?
Mhm.
But I'm like very inward right now. I'm like, fuck y'all. Love my
Yeah.
reflector girls. I will be showing up. Yes.
I feel
So
the
thank
same
you,
way.
everyone.
and I receive that, and I'm gonna like it just fills my heart and makes me feel so good. So I'm gonna sit with that, and that's gonna like carry me through this next week. So
Oh,
Thank you for
yeah.
this space. Thank you for
Yeah. Thank
everything.
you for this community. We needed it just as much as you did.
I love y'all.
Love y'all. Thank
Mwah.
you.
Amazing
Mwah,
to see
happy
you.
Lacey, I sent you a
Monday.
message on Instagram to connect.
Yeah.
Yes. Talk
And
soon.
I'll get back on Telegram. I'm just aloof.
Girl, we'll be here. We'll be here when you're
Okay.
ready. We ain't going
Love
nowhere.
y'all. Mwah.
Bye, y'all.
Mwah. Bye bye.